The Chicago Blackhawks will start Tony Esposito in goal with Randy Holt and Phil Russell on defense. They'll start the Boldarev line at center with Darcy Rhoda and Grant Mulvey. The Islanders with Billy Smith in goal, Dennis Potvin and Dave Lewis on defense. At center will be Brian Trottier. On the right wing, Billy Harris, and in the left wing, 23-year-old Clark Gillies, who celebrates his birthday today. Dave Salvian is replacing in the Islander lineup J.P. Parisi, who bruised his knee in the game Tuesday night. It is not serious, but they do want to let him rest a game. And that's what is the case, and we'll get to more of that later. They're ready to go, and here's John.
All right, thank you, Bob. And Dennis Potvin fires it right into Esposito. He is behind the net. He drops it in back. It's wound around the boards by Randy Holt, but kept in by Harris along the right boards. He is knocked down by Russell, is picked up and back by Boldarev. This was the most effective Chicago line. Boldarev with Darcy Rhoda and Grant Mulvey. Across comes Boldarev on the left side. In the left corner, Boldarev looks to center. It goes right through Gomouth on the right point to Holt. He keeps it in along the boards. Fouls it himself. Is wound around the boards by Davey Lewis, not out. Kept in on the shot. It is tipped wide off the stick of Grant Mulvey, picked up by Billy Harris. And Chicago looks, Bob, like they're going to forecheck a little more. Trotty sends across to Davey Lewis in center, and he feeds it into the Chicago zone. In back of the net, Harris. He centers it, but it's knocked aside by Boldarev. Picked up by Harris in the slot. Gillis, the shot is saved by Esposito. And right away, Tonio goes to work. By the way, Brian Trotty was taken down, and boy, that fault looked like a penalty there, but Brian Lewis' arm did not go up. Islanders dump it in, and Grant Mulvey will come out as the Islanders are on a line change. And the puck on the left side now for Darcy Rhoda, but a two-line pass is called. Two things happened in the first minute and 8 seconds, Bob. Gillies had a great shot from the slot and another save by that man again. And Brian was really taken down.
He was. Randy Holt tripped him with the stick. Brian Lewis didn't see it. He's allowed occasional mistakes. But that wide-open shot by Gillies was a great surprise. He was no more than about 15 feet out at point-blank range, but couldn't quite get it up over Espo's shoulder. The Islanders know that's what they've got to do, shoot the puck high on Espo or hope for the rebounds, but that was a point-blank shot. As you mentioned, the Islanders anticipate some more forechecking, especially in this first period out of the Blackhawks. Eddie Chadwick passed that along from the scouting report. They have done that on occasion and been successful at it.
All right, off the draw. In his own end, John Marks. He sends it out. Dale Talon at left wing with Jim Harrison at center. Harrison across. Chicago came in offside. Harrison took a late shot with Smitty glove. Willie Smith, I think, has on a new mask. It looks like a new mask anyway. And it's very long. I noticed it downstairs. He was walking out. It has a piece that covers what would be in front of your throat. It isn't welded to your throat, but it might deflect a shot from underneath. All right, off the draw, Jerry Hart, a long lead pass from McMillan is broken up in center, taken away by Marks. Marks, playing now as a defenseman, throws it around his net for Bob Murray. He got crunched by Howard. Howard keeps it in. Howard in the slot, loses control. The puck's still in Chicago end, and it is worked out and dug out by the Hawks to center ice, picked up by Howard. Howard comes over the line, but offside of the play was Andy Saint Laurent. And so we'll have a face-off in neutral ice.
Quick point about the mask. Everybody knows we're not exactly right on top of the Islanders. I've never noticed that mask being as long under the chin as Smitty has on tonight. It may very well be a new one, but that long elongation underneath does help the deflections into the Adam's apple. One other point quickly, well, we'll get to it in a minute, about the Islander strategy tonight.
All right, Andy Saint Laurent sends it across. It's taken there by Murray, and Murray looks to play out. He does to Jim Harrison in center. He gets checked by Denny Potvin, picked up by Marks. He drives it on goal, high and wide, kicks off on the left side. Howard bottled up along the boards. Gary takes it to the left boards. Now he's not being checked, so he gets the pass out to Saint Laurent, who dumps it toward the blue line. Dumped back in by J.P. Bordelot, and now sent out by Davey Lewis. Saint Laurent, a lead for Howard, onside. It's off his stick, it goes in the left corner. Howard turned around by Marks and back of the Chicago net. Picked up by Bordelot. He is bumped there by McMillan. The puck is going to be dug out by Saint Laurent. Now Howard looks to center it. It's deflected and back to the Chicago stage, taken by Marks, and he plays out of the zone and down ice. Now sent in center ice by Smith, ahead for Howard. Howard, a lead for Westfall, has it knocked off his stick, and back the other way comes Phil Russell. Over the line, a right side pass. Bordelot shot is broken up. It goes behind the net. Dennis Hull plays it in back of the net, picked up there by Bordelot. He comes around the net, centers it off the stick of Dennis Hull, who was in the slot. Picked back up now by Mikita to Hull. The shot, a save by Smith, and he holds on. And he may have stolen a goal from Dennis Hull after a fine feed in front from Stan Mikita.
I guess turnaround is play, and the Islanders turned it around on the goaltending by Billy Smith by stealing that goal away from Dennis Hall, who came up with almost a giveaway on the centering pass. He had a chance to deke a little bit, but Smitty didn't go for it. Played very well to stop that save almost right in his navel. Hall had a good chance, but a good save by Smitty.
By the way, Bob, this is the first time tonight that Dave Salvian has been in a Major League game. He is playing left wing, wearing number 16. He's on with Juju and Eddie Westfall.
Some baptism of fire, huh?
Isn't that something? You get called up and you're in a Stanley Cup game right off the bat. Now, the Islanders, even though Salvian has been called up and Parisi is out, are going to go with 4 lines. You may wonder what would have happened if Bert Marshall was healthy. Well, I'm sure Jean Potvin would have been a right wing on the Saint Laurent Howard line, and McMillan would have played left wing. Billy McMillan, one of those guys who can play any one of the 3 forward positions. But Marshall is hurt. Jean Potvin is playing defense, and they are playing the youngster Dave Salvian. He's a left shot and a left wing. On the draw. On the right point to Randy Holt. His drive is caught by Smitty, who decides to hold on.
One of the things that, while we have a moment here to point out, the Islanders are going to have to be a little careful without causing any slack in their aggressive style, but to be careful not to take any dumb penalties. That's one thing Al Arbor pointed out to them, because they got in penalty situations the other night, cost them 2 power play goals.
Right. Holt's shot from the right point is wide. A rebound on the left point to Russell. His shot, a kick save by Smitty. Cameras off, and now Salvian dumps to center ice. Picked up there by Randy Holt. Can you imagine how nervous that youngster is? His first Major League game is a Stanley Cup game. Here comes Mikita over the line. Back passing with Dennis Hull. His drive, a kick save by Smitty. And this work in his own zone, I think, might be good for Billy Smith. It'll get him in the game early. Now, Eddie Westfall comes to center. He dumps it off the boards to the Chicago end. After it's Salvian, along with Cliff Corral. And Corral reaches it first and dumps out of the zone. Hart plays it back. Touched by Salvian on the offside of the line. And so we'll get a face-off in neutral ice. There is a break in the action, and there is no score.
If the right place for you is Florida, Eastern Airlines has the right time for you. Eastern has 47 daily nonstops to 10 cities in Florida, including the most nonstops to Miami and Tampa, St. Petersburg. And remember, no other airline has lower airfares from New York to Florida than Eastern. For reservations to Florida, call the travel specialist, your travel agent, or Eastern Airlines. Eastern's got the right time and the right place for you.
All right, off the face-off, the puck is pinned in deep Islander zone after Chicago dumped it in. Boulder up pinning Jean Potvin. The face-off will come in Islander zone, and Chicago, Bob, looks much more intense, playing with a lot more drive, not playing as defensively.
They are really, I think, have to be considered the loosest team in the National Hockey League on all circumstances considered, and they're playing well.
Off the draw now, the shot from the point by Murray is deflected wide. A rebound picked up by Jerry Hart. And Hart looks to play it out. He does dump it out. Ahead now for Salvian. Onside. Salvian back passing for Juan. Knocked off his stick. It's going to be kept in the zone by Jean Potvin. He plays it to the right corner. Taken there by Dick Redmond. Redmond sends ahead for Ivan Boldyrev, and he comes to center ice. Boldyrev, he fires it on goal. It's deflected off the stick of Jerry Hart. Stopped in back by Billy Smith. He forwards it around the boards, but is kept in by Boldyrev on the left point to Redmond. Redmond with that big shot dumps it in the corner for Boldyrev. He plays in back of the cage. It's deflected there by Corral back on the point, and it hops over Redmond's stick and comes to center ice. He throws it across ice for Murray. Feeds it on the right side for Grant Mulvey, and he dumps all the way down. Played behind the net by Jerry Hart. And Chicago has come in forechecking tonight instead of playing back. Jean Potvin comes to center. He skates to the red line, dumps it off the boards, deflected there by Redmond. Picked up by Jean Potvin. He plays it in, stopped again by Redmond, and he sends out to center ice to Mulvey. Off his stick, picked up by Bobby Bourne. Bourne goes back in his own area, comes in front of his own cage, being checked by Harrison. Now sends the pass out to Denny Potvin. Dennis, a good lead in center ice for Henning. A right wing pass for Nystrom is deflected and goes into the Chicago bench. There is a break in the action, and there is no score.
This is Roderick Crawford on the highway for AC Delco. Are you a pickpocket? You are if you're not giving your car a tune-up when it's needed. That's like stealing gasoline and performance from yourself. Get smart. Get yourself a tune-up with quality AC fire ring spark plugs and reliable Delco ignition parts. And don't pussyfoot around. Wherever you go for parts or service, make it clear exactly what you want. The AC Delco treatment. Tell them that flat out. And tell them I sent you. This is Roderick Crawford.
All right, Islanders controlling Chicago zone along the boards and back of the cage of Bourne on the left side for Nystrom. Nystrom now passes to Bourne on the left side of the cage. Nystrom throws it cross ice for Henning. His drive is blocked and deflected, and the rebound is going to be picked up by Russell, who jumps out of the zone. Dale Talon sends a long right wing lead for Bordelot. It's too long. It's going to be picked up by Bobby Bourne, who goes back in his own end. Throws it across for Dennis Potvin. He sends it ahead for Bourne. He dumps it in off the boards. It is played by Tony Esposito in back of his own cage for Bordelot. Now for Dale Talon on the left side. And he tries to send it out. Deflected and picked up by Bourne. Back to Henning. The shot is wide. The rebound, Bourne in the right circle. Bourne, right circle. Shot tipped by Nystrom. Saved by Espo. And he holds on. And now Randy Holt and Nystrom will go. Holt and Nystrom will go.
Bobby Nystrom was trying to screen on that shot that was taken from the near side by Lauren Henning, and Nystrom had his back to Esposito and was screening on the shot. Espo made a good save. Nystrom was just standing there, and all of a sudden, Holt shoved him. They looked at each other for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and all of a sudden the gloves went down, and the two of them started swinging almost simultaneously. At the same time, while that fight was breaking out, along came Davey Lewis and Phil Russell grabbing each other's shirts, and they started pushing and shoving a bit. Nystrom and Holt are definitely going to go off for fighting. And we could get an additional 2 added onto one of the two, in the opinion of Brian Lewis. If he determines one of them started it, they may get the additional 2 for roughing, and both will definitely get 5 for fighting. Now, I don't think any other additional penalties are going to be meted out to Davey Lewis and Phil Russell. They started to go while the Nystrom and Holt thing was going on behind the Islander net. Nystrom is getting 5 for fighting. Both penalties are going to be assessed at 6-11. Both getting 5 for fighting as anticipated. So the teams will be at equal strength, both of them going off on the major penalties. 5 for fighting at 6-11 of the first period. Still no score. And that was a pretty tough save on the part of Tony Esposito, because Nystrom really had him well screened. It was at a bad angle, but Nystrom let the puck go right between his legs at Espo. And it looked like the puck hopped up in the air off the stick of Esposito, and he gloved it quickly. Holt came around behind the net, started pushing. Down went the gloves of both of them, and away they went.
We mentioned last game, Bob, that Randy Holt, who is a newcomer to the league, has only played the last portion of the season with Chicago, is a very rough and ready guy. And if a guy is going to screen your goaltender standing right near the crease, you've got to get him out of there. And Holt gave Nystrom a bang, and then Nystrom gave him a bang, and they were off. But a defenseman has got to do that. Right off the jaw, it is picked up by Marks, and he dumps out of the zone. Now, the 2 major penalties are called coincidental majors, so neither team plays a man down. Nystrom, of course, and Holt won't be out for 5 minutes. That's period. Now, the Islanders dump it down, and Marks touches it. It'll be icing. Fans thought that Marks should have caught up with it. Anyway, there is a stoppage of play, a break in the action with the score. The Islanders and Chicago, no score.
This is a Crazy Eddie commercial for people who hate Crazy Eddie commercials. Just remember, when you're looking for audio equipment, color TV, car stereo, CB, anything in home entertainment equipment, there's only one man to see, Crazy Eddie. His prices won't be beat, and Crazy Eddie has all the big name brands. Everything is brand new. He never sells demos, seconds, or closed out merchandise. Crazy Eddie stands behind all manufacturers' warranties, and he services what he sells. Visit one of the great Crazy Eddie locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Syosset, Long Island, or call 645-1196 for a free price quote.
All right, off the jaw. Gillies comes across right side. Centers it off the stick of Harris. He was set up in front. He might have had one. Back comes Coral. Cliff Coral across right side. A shot. A block save by the blocking pad of Billy Smith. And the rebound is sent back by Harris to Jerry Hart. That was a great pass before Gillies to Harris, but it just went off Billy's stick. All right, Billy in center ice. Billy, a lead for Brian Chartier, left corner. Brian in the left side of the net. Brian goes in back of the net. Billy Harris is in front. Back on the point to Jean Paul. The blast! Oh, just wide. And it caroms all the way off the boards and all the way down ice. And I'll tell you what, if Jean had that on the right corner, he would have had one, Bob.
I think he was looking at that corner just a little bit wide. Good shot.
Here is Brian Chartier, where the Lightning Company is ready tonight. Brian comes to the Chicago line, looks to play it in, and the Islanders do get a line change. Is picked up in back now by Darcy Rhoda. He sends ahead in center ice for Bolderoff, skating up ice with Marks. Bolderoff takes a shot, a block by Billy Smith as he got the pad on it, and the puck is dumped out of the zone by Zhu Juan. Picked up at his own line by Johnny Marks. The big, rangy Chicago defenseman sends a pass in center for Mulvey. It's deflected, knocked away, and picked up by Westfall. His right-wing lead for Zhu Juan over the line. He and Marks collide and knock each other out of the play. Picked up by Darcy Rhoda. We played 8 minutes, no score. Dick Redmond in his own end sends in front of his own net for John Marks. Marks comes right up the middle. Marks now dumps it in, a bouncer wide of Billy Smith. He whacks it to the right boards. A good lead pass for Zhu Juan, who will come out of the zone. His pass, though, deflected by Bordelot, and is picked up now by Denny Poppin in front of his net. He sends the pass out. Stopped by Redmond at the point. Salvian tried to get his stick on it, could not do it. Picked up by Dennis, and he will skate it out. Now Dennis weaves his way up ice. Dennis across the line. A lead for Westfall. The shot by Westfall. He has to go back of the net. He centers it, deflected wide. Rebound. Salvian couldn't get the stick on. Rebound. Dennis' shot is wide. Rebound Westfall in the right corner. In front to Juan. The shot. The pass went to Salvian, and it went through his stick. And the rebound is going to be cleared down ice by Grant Mulvey. Now the Islanders almost. They might have passed it once too often. First time down, Bob Westfall had the shot. He didn't take it. He went wide. Then he wound up back of the goal. And this time, Juan, instead of taking the shot, threw the pass in front to Salvian, and it went right past the stick.
Well, I think it was a wise move on Westfall's part on the first opportunity because he just didn't have a good angle to shoot at, and there wasn't anybody to his left to get a rebound. On Drouin's pass, I think also it was a good move because there was a defenseman in front of him as well as Esposito in goal, and I think he spotted out of the corner of his eye that Salvian was open and could have made a quick deflection possibly into the net.
Right.
But the pass was just a little too hard and it hopped over Salvian's stick. He could never get the shot off.
Now, how'd you like that if he had deflected that in?
Wow.
In the first period of his first Major League game, which is a Stanley Cup game off the draw, Chicago will clear it out on the stick of Dale Talon. He sends a right-wing lead now across the line. Oh, belted down was Bordelot. What a check, and he's hurt. And back in the net now, Jean Potvin. He had to give him that check because he lost his helmet, and Bordelot is coming off hurt. Now here's Saint Laurent to center ice. Andy comes across, and the Islanders are just offside as they come across the line. Jean Potvin, what a check, what a crunch he gave J.B. Bordelot, who went off the ice hurt. And as I said, it was so hard he lost his helmet.
I think Bordelot took most of that in the groin area, and Jean Potvin really must have rattled his fillings loose a bit on that check. Great check, good clean one, but what a blast. Bordelot never saw that one coming. That's what you get for having your head down.
All right, off the draw, Hart from center ice fires it into the Chicago zone after it is Saint Laurent. And he plays behind the net, picked up there by Phil Russell, got boarded by Howitt, sends the puck around the boards, and Saint Laurent gave a check, and there's going to be a penalty. Now Howitt picks it up, and there will be an Islander penalty, and there could have been two of them. Elaine Day was knocked down, and Russell was knocked off the puck, and there will be an interference penalty upcoming on the Islanders, probably on Gary Howe. That'd be my guess. Right now there is a break in the action, and there is no score.
Where'd you get that Baby Ruth bar?
It was right here. I think I left it at the last home game.
Oh, no, you didn't. I brought that Baby Ruth bar today.
Oh, no. It's my Baby Ruth bar, all right. I'm sure of it. I recognize the wrapper. So I guess I'll eat my Baby Ruth bar right now. Because when you gotta have one, you gotta have one. What a sucker.
What'd you just say about a sucker?
I said I like a Baby Ruth bar even better than a sucker.
All right, off the face-off, the penalty is on Gary Howe. Bob will give you the official wording as Chicago comes across offside.
Howitt gets 2 for interference. Time of the penalty is 9:27. And this is one of the areas the Islanders obviously were concerned about, as you mentioned earlier. The Blackhawks scored 2 power play goals, their only score against the Islanders in the first game of this series. However, one of them was scored when the Islanders were 2 men down. The Islanders did not want to take any cheap penalties. That was not a cheap penalty.
But it was in the Chicago end. You don't mind taking them in your own end to stop a goal, but you really hate to take a penalty in their end when you're on the attack. Well, anyway, the penalty is there. Howitt is off. Westfall and Henning are on trying to kill the penalty. Chicago has the power play now. They've killed on their own a half minute. Across the line is Boldurev. He sends in the corner, taken there by Grant Mulvey. Mulvey is in the deep left corner, played by Denny Potvin. He sends in the left side of the circle for Boldurev. Now he goes in front. Davey Lewis goes over and belts Mulvey. Cross-ice pass for Redmond is tipped by Henning across the line. Well, I'm going to watch the puck, which I have to do, and Bob will watch the action in front. Across comes Ivan Boulder up. He's on the right side. He got belted and knocked down by his own man. Henning comes up ice with Westfall. Loney Henning with a drive. He goes high and beyond Esposito. Bounces off the boards, picked up by Westfall. He clears it out to center ice to Denny Potvin. Denny will want to open it up. He got Boulder up, an elbow right in the face. Denny Potvin turned and elbowed Ivan Boulder up right in the kisser. And the puck is stolen by Henning. He sends to Westfall. He rags it in center ice. Islanders might kill the rest of this penalty. Only 35 seconds remaining. And now Davey Lewis whistles it down ice. And Denny Potvin turned around and he gave an elbow right in the face of Ivan Boldurev, and Boldurev did nothing about it. And you can't do that in hockey. You've got to come back and do something, or else they're going to do that to you all game long. Now to center ice is Bob Murray. 20 seconds on the penalty. Across comes Murray. A right-wing lead is broken up by Hart. The shot is saved. Rebound, Dennis Hull. Goal! Dennis Hull hit the upper post and knocked it in on the rebound of the shot. And I called that before the red light went on. He hit a drive, Dennis Hull did. It hit the crossbar, underneath the crossbar, and came down in the net. A Dennis Hull power play goal for Chicago, and the Blackhawks take a 1-0 lead.
Dennis Hull with a power play goal. Murray and Mikita will get assists on the goal. Time of the goal will be at 11:12 of the first period. Murray and Mikita with the assists, and the Islanders are down 1-0. What a turn of events that is.
All right, off the jaw, Jerry Hart comes to center, and he plays it in. Off the boards and back of the Chicago cage, taken by John Marks. Marks got bumped by Billy Harris. Marks still has the bucket back of the net. Now he sends it around the boards for Dennis Hull. All Chicago goals in this series have been power play goals. Here's Dennis Hull with a drive from center, stopped low by Billy Smith. Rebound picked up by Gillies. He plays it in front of the net, and Smitty now decides to hold on. Actually, it was a rebound that came out, and Dennis Hull was about 25 feet out, and he was alone, and he had time to shoot, and he shoots so hard. Smitty never saw it.
And he also had the opportunity to wait because there was a defenseman there screening a bit for the Islanders unintentionally, and Hull was able to get the puck up in the air, too, rather than shooting it down low, and that's just what he did. It was one of those post-type shots, only it hit the crossbar. It could have gone up over, but it did hit the underside of the crossbar and went in. Hall for Murray and Mikita at 11:12, and the Blackhawks holding a 1-0 lead.
All right, in back of his own net, Jerry Hart. He decides to send across to Brian Trottier. He comes to center ice. Brian, great move in center. Comes across, has it knocked off his stick, and the puck is dumped back to center ice. Picked up now by Jerry Hart across to Jean Potvin, who plays it in. It comes off the boards in front of Trottier. The shot. He missed the cage. He had a wide open cage, and he missed it. Rebound Trottier. He centers it, deflected. Brian is knocked down in back of the cage. It is picked up in back of the cage and held along the boards by Brian, and there will be a face-off. And Brian Trottier made about 3 great moves, and when he came in front, Espo went down and he shot it high, but he shot it too high.
That's the important part, the key, I think, to the Islanders, and certainly to Brian on that particular shot. He knew that Espo was there, and it made no sense to try to shoot it low. He did try to get it up. He just kind of put the puck, or the stick underneath the puck to lift it up a little bit and got it up just a bit too high. It was a wide open foot or so that he had over Esposito's shoulder, just a little bit too high. But that's an important key, I think. The Islanders are going to be trying to shoot it a little higher at Espo tonight.
Islanders just flying tonight on this Lightning Cup. Here's a drive by Gillies off the jaw, and it's held there by Tony O. We're going to pause 15 seconds now for station identification. This is New York Islander hockey.
This is WMCA Strauss Communications in New York. This is Steve Powers. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, we bring you the news, weather, traffic information, everything you need to get off to a good start every day. Join me Monday through Friday.
All right, out the face-off, the Hawks clear to center ice, picked up by Gillies. The Lightning Company's just been dominant every shift they've had on ice. They haven't scored, obviously, but they've come close. Islanders dumped to the Chicago line. Stopped deep there by Randy Holt. He and Nystrom are back out. Their majors have concluded. Now to center ice comes Pitt Martin, a lead for Elaine Day. He is knocked down hard. What a check there by Trottier. And now Harrison center ice, deflected from behind by Jim Harrison. His lead for Pitt Martin. He got bumped there, and the puck is taken away by Harrison. He comes across right side with a drive. It is blocked by Smitty, and it goes high in the crowd. 7 minutes remaining in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. In fact, right now there's a break in the action with the score. Chicago 1 and the Islanders no score.
Hello, Emery. It's 9:30. Do you know where my package is?
Just
give me the name and destination, sir.
At Emory, the Air Force in air freight, we have a computer tracking system that works like radar. It can tell us exactly where in our system your package is, no matter where in the world it is. And it can tell us just seconds after we ask, so we can tell you just seconds after you ask, no matter how many times you ask.
Hello, Emory. It's 9:31. Do you know where my package is now?
Emory, the Air Force in air freight.
All right, Davy Lewis dumps it in, picked up by Russell. His pass is deflected. Russell knocks it down. It's in back of the net. Russell goes after it, being boarded there by Juan. Sends off on the right side for Martin. His pass deflects in front. Is cleared at the last minute by Randy Holt, and Harrison will take it out of the zone. Deflected in center by Davy Lewis. A right-wing lead for Juan. Back in the slot for Lewis. He can't control. Now Davy gets it back. He throws it in back of the Chicago net, taken by Salvian. He goes in back of the net, boarded by Randy Holt. Wound around the boards, but kept in by Denny Potvin. Dennis now plays off in the left corner for Salvian. The rookie now leaves it in the corner for Juan. Westfall's in the slot. The pass is deflected there by Russell. It goes to the right corner. After it is Westfall. Wrestled away by now in the slot. Juan, the shot. Goal! Ireland to goal! Ireland to goal! Juan, as Salvian left him the puck in the right corner, and he fired a bullet. Oh, what a drive by Juan, and we're tied at 1.
Juan, who leads the Islanders in playoff scoring as an Islander, has come up with his first goal of this Stanley Cup Series this year. The assists will go to Salvian and Westfall. Dave Salvian filling in for the injured J.P. Parisi, and he has scored his first National Hockey League playoff point. The time of the goal will be 13:56, and we're all tied at 1 apiece.
All right, on the draw, Bobby Nystrom goes across with a drive that is wide. Rebound left point, Jerry Hart. Hart, his drive is tipped just wide, and the rebound is cleared. It back to Bourne. Right side, Nystrom, his back turned. Bobby in the right side plays it in back of the net for Bourne. He's held there by Dick Redmond. Henning will pick it up and back. Henning tries to kick it in front of the net. It's deflected there by Marks, and it is dumped out of the zone into the Hawk bench by Darcy Rhoda and Jean Potvin. Bob Lawrence, when Juan took that drive from exactly the left face-off circle, right side of Espo, that's 25 feet away, and he hit that puck as hard as you'll ever see anything ever hit.
The fastest hockey gun in the league, maybe, is Juan, and he really let go of it quick. And he got it up a little bit high, too. Not down low, as the Islanders had been shooting at Espo on Tuesday night for the most part. He got that one up just almost at shoulder level and zipped it into the net. I don't think Espo ever saw it.
I was just going to say that not only didn't he see it, but that puck hit the net, which is a net and obviously is malleable, and it bounced actually out of the goal with such force. All right, off the draw now. Marks dumps it into the Islander end. Ridden out by Bobby Bourne. Islanders look like they're about ready to break this thing open. It's 1-1, but the Islanders have had it their way. Across the line comes Bourne, and offside whistle I heard, but no, it's not. Kept in by Hart, left side. In back of the net now for Henning. He sends it to Hart. The shot! Oh, it went wide. It's going to be a Chicago penalty. Rebound, Jean Paul, and the shot went wide. And it caroms all the way down ice. Now, the Islanders are on the delay Chicago penalty, I believe, coming up. In fact, there is a penalty. The Islanders get another skater on. They've got the extra man. Down center ice, it's deflected by Darcy Rhoda, and the Chicago penalty will take effect. Bob, you saw Hart miss a drive that was tipped just wide. It carried out to Jean Potvin from the right point, and he missed by an inch to the lower left-hand corner where he's been trying to hit all night.
He really had a golden opportunity there, and the Islanders had an even bigger one here on this delayed penalty to Marks, who goes off for interference at 15:04. The Islanders just plain mishandled the puck as they were coming back out of their zone on that missed shot that caromed all the way down in the Islanders' zone. Smitty stopped it behind goal and then took off for the bench while the Islanders were getting an extra skater on, and could have had that opportunity, but they just plain mishandled it coming out of their zone. So the face-off, when it was finally touched by Chicago, right outside the Islander blue line, the face-off will come at that point.
All right, the Islanders have the Lightning Company. Here's Brian Chartier up ice. He's been brilliant tonight. Brian over the line, right side, looking to pass through to Harris. He does. Harris mishandled the puck. It went back of the net. He sends it out now for Harris. The shot. Oh, it was a kick saved by Espo. The rebound in the right corner to Jean Potvin. Holds the puck. Now right point, the left point for Dennis. Now back on the right point for Jean. In the right corner for Harris. Harris in the right goal corner. Now comes out to the head of the right circle. Harris plays it in back for Bryan. Bryan on the right side. Dennis streaking in from the left side. Bryan right side in the slot. Gillies. The shot is deflected wide. Rebound Bryan. Saved by Espo. Rebound kept alive and back by Bryan. Bryan plays off to the right corner. Now he throws back on the left point to Dennis. Dennis on the left point. In the left corner to Gillies. The shot. Saved by Espo. Rebound right point to Jean Potvin. Left point Dennis. Dennis tees it up. Dennis on the left point. Dennis's pass cross ice. Goes in back of the cage. It is picked up there by Gillies and Russell. Russell tries to clear, and he does.
I've never seen such sustained pressure by the Islanders on a power play like that all year.
All right, here's Dennis. Now, Denny Potvin comes over the line, left side. Goes to the left corner. Throws back in the slot to Juan. Jude fakes. Shot by Jude is wide. Rebounding back Dennis. Plays it around the boards for Harris. Back on the right point to Jean Potvin. In the right corner for Harris. Harris, left corner. It is tipped, and it goes into the crowd with 33 seconds remaining on the Johnny Marks penalty. And I have not seen the Islanders throw the puck around that well on the power play in a long, long time, maybe back to last year when they led the league in power play goals.
That's the truth. Boy, is that ever the truth. The Islanders have just not looked this well on power plays all year long. It's like, what have you been saving it for? Well, if you've been saving it for the playoffs, you picked the best time to let it go again.
Islanders have Juan, Bobby Nystrom, and Bobby Bourne out on the power play. Off the jaw. It's picked up by Jim Harrison. He caroms off the boards out of the zone. 20 seconds left in the power play. Islanders may have, if they move it up quickly, or if they're able to move it up quickly, one more shot at it. All right, Jean Potvin comes to center smoothly. He dumps it in. It's behind the Chicago boards, picked up by Tony O. He caroms to the right corner, kept alive by Jean Potvin there. Chicago trying to tie it up, and yes, Phil Russell is able to tie it up in the deep right corner. 7 seconds left on the penalty. Now the Islanders have to win this draw to get a good shot. Pat Price comes out on the left point, and Jerry Hart, who's a lefty shot, comes out on the right point. But they want Pat Price to get this face-off if Juan can win it and be able to fire it from the left point. Ivan Boldyrev and Juan will take the draw. And it's won by the Islanders. Back on the left point to Hart. His shot is just wide. Rebound left point, Price. Penalty is over. Price in the slot for Juan. Juan, backhand pass is deflected. Taken away by Dennis Hull. He dumps out of the zone. So we're tied at 1 with 2:45 remaining in the period. And Chicago plays it in. Behind the net, Jerry Hart took a run at Dennis Hull. They both go on top of the puck. And there'll be a face-off in deep Islander ice. There is a break in the action. Score. Islanders 1. Chicago 1.
God morgon. Det här är Emery Airfreight.
Bonjour, ici Emery Airfreight.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Emery Airfreight de gozaimasu.
If you're looking for an air freight company that can ship a package practically anywhere, Emery speaks your language. We're on more than 1,000 planes a day, and we also have hundreds of offices all over the world with a computer tracking system to tell us just where your package is, no matter where in the world it is.
Hello, Emery Airfreight. Can I help you?
Emery, the Air Force in air freight.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, Pittsburgh is leading Toronto in the first period by a score of 2-0 in a must-win for the Penguins playing in Toronto tonight. Here it's 1-1 in the first period.
All right, off the draw, Chicago misplays the bucket, comes down ice. Tony O way out of the net, clears it, and he cleared it into the Chicago bench. Fans, of course, would say, well, that's a delay of game. He didn't try to do that. He could have killed one of his teammates. He could have shot the puck right in their face. And Stan Mikita picks up the puck, being the good guy he is, and tosses it behind him into the crowd. You can get pretty annoyed at someone who fires the puck right at your head.
Especially when he's wearing the same jersey as you are.
Right, off the draw now, in Chicago zone, 2.5 remaining in the first period. We're tied at 1. It has been just a super hockey game. Again, Tony O has kept this team in the game. He has been brilliant. Dick Redmond dumps it in, and the bouncer went off the glove of Smitty. Luckily, it went behind the net instead of into the net. And Jerry Hart looks to come out. Chicago has changed their tactics. They're forechecking tonight. They're sending men up ice. And Chicago, as the Islanders dump it out, play it right back in again. Behind the net, it's Pat Price. He can lug it. He sends a right-wing lead for Billy McMillan. A lead in center ice is too long. It'll go all the way down. It'll be icing on the touch of Grant Mulvey. As in center ice, he bumped Gary Howitt. Sometimes you wonder what is interference and what isn't interference. But I am not here to question refereeing.
Yeah, that's wild. I was thinking the same thing when Howard was interfered with as he was trying to catch up with that headman pass. I'll tell you, one of the things about, you mentioned a while ago when Denny Potvin put an elbow right in the face of Boldarev, the wildest part about that is it happened right in front of Brian Lewis. He was standing 3 feet away and never called that penalty. Boldarev was holding Denny Potvin. He got upset with it, of the hold, and turned around and busted him one. And
he really did. And it did happen. You're right. Right off the draw, Harrison dumps it off to the right point to Randy Holt. His drive is deflected in front, just wide. The rebound, Bordeaux, he is belted by Gary Howard. Picked up in back by Bordeaux. He is tripped by Price. Right in front of Lewis, no penalty. Picked up by Harrison. He loses control in the slot. Knocked aside by Eddie Wessel, plays in back of his cage. Chicago is playing with a lot more fury, a lot more intensity. They're forechecking tonight. They're coming up ice and gambling. Now in center ice, the puck is deflected, and Holt ran into Howitt and gave him a bump in center ice. Picked up in back of his own net by Jerry Hart when Chicago dumps it in again. 1:15 remaining in the period. We're tied at 1. Out of his own zone now, Brian Trottier. A lead for Howard. A back pass to Brian. Over the line, left side. One man to beat Russell. To his backhand. And Russell knocks the puck away. The puck is picked up and back by Brian. Brian looking to center it. I think it's in his uniform. And now Howard and Randy Holt, who said hello to each other in center ice before, now are renewing their acquaintance.
You know, Holt looks like he's skating around with a chip on his shoulder in this hockey game. He took a run at Bobby Nystrom, and both of them went off 5 minutes for fighting, and he landed a couple of punches, as did Nystrom. Holt made a couple of runs just in this last time down the ice at Howard. They both collided right in front of the official scorer, Bob Aarons, as a matter of fact, twice. And one time Howard got knocked down, the other time Holt got upended. And I'd be a little bit concerned about both sides of the ice if Brian Lewis doesn't start calling some of these banging things and trippings.
So a minute left in the period. Chicago dumps it all the way down. It comes off on the right corner. Picked up there by Bordeaux. His pass deflected. And taken away by Brian Trottier. He sends a right-wing lead for Harris. Billy comes across right side. Drops it back for Brian. Brian goes in the right corner. To center it. It's deflected by Marks. Picked up back in the cage by Gillies. He sends it for Harris off his stick. And it will be taken out of the zone by Cliff Coral. Ahead for Dennis Hull. A right-wing pass for Mikita. Stan's shot is wide. Came right out in front of us. Hit the boards and came right out in front after it hit the post. Now it's picked up in center ice by Murray. Played to center ice by Davey Lewis. Picked up by Mikita. His pass is deflected by Trottier. And across the line comes Mikita. He and Brian go in the left corner. Brian comes behind the net. Winding it around the board for Gillies. Gillies can't clear it out. Kept in by Murray. 7 seconds remaining in the period, and the puck is going to be held there for a face-off.
I don't know, John. I'm just thinking. I think that shot by Mikita, I guess it was, it took it from the right side.
Right.
I think that shot hit the post.
Hit the left post?
Hit the left post and came right out in front. It went right behind Smitty. He was out of the net, foot or so. And the puck whistled off the left side, his left side, and hit that post and came right back out of the near side. I'd like to see that one again on the videotape, I'll tell you.
That's our far goal here. It's too bad we don't have a replay. We don't have one, though. Now, the Islanders dump out of the zone, and that'll take care of the first period. The Islanders obviously had the better of it, but not as much as they did the other night. Chicago has decided to send some people down ice, to forecheck a little bit, to bang a little bit. And Tony Esposito's great goaltending, and we're tied at 1. The Lightning Company and Brian Trottier in particular have been fabulous in this first period. Bob Lawrence will bring you up to date on the shots on goal, the 2 goals scored, the penalties. And then he will talk with one of hockey's finest writers, Tim Moriarty of Newsday, who on a regular basis covers the New York Rangers, but has covered the Islanders a lot in the past as well. And then we'll get back with the second period. John Sterling here, along with Bob Lawrence at the Nassau Coliseum. The score at the end of 1 period of play. The New York Islanders 1 and the Chicago Blackhawks 1.
Taste Schaefer beer, consistently great Schaefer. From first beer to your last, it goes straight to your thirst. Beer after beer, the same great tasting Schaefer. Your last last one always tastes as good as your first.
Schaefer consistency starts with country pure water, heading for the Schaefer Brewery in Lehigh Valley. There's Schaefer's Croissant Brewed, that's brewing twice. For over 130 years, it's given Schaefer a smooth, crisp, consistently great taste. Schaefer consistency. Put it to the test. You'll find your last one tastes as good as your first.
Beer after beer, the same great tasting Schaefer. Your last one always tastes as good as your first.
Schaefer Brewing Company, Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania.
If you're like most buyers of regular gasoline, you probably think unleaded gasolines just don't perform. Sure, unleaded gives you a nice, clean engine, but it just doesn't have the pep of your regular, or for that matter, the low price. Well, you regular buyers are in for a little surprise. Introducing Getty Unleaded Regular. Getty's unleaded gasoline has a high enough octane to be classified a regular. Most unleadeds don't. Yet Getty Unleaded Regular actually sells for a couple of cents less per gallon than most other major no-leads. So if you want the octane performance of regular and the clean running smoothness of unleaded for a couple of cents less per gallon, you want Getty Unleaded Regular. Getty Premium, and now, Getty Unleaded Regular. We've got what's best for your car.
Back here at the Coliseum, the Islanders and the Blackhawks are tied at 1 apiece at the end of the first period. The Blackhawks goal coming in fashion that has been like the proverbial repetition of back to the hockey game. It's tied at 1 apiece. The Islanders and the Blackhawks ready to go, and here again is John Sterling.
That's a lovely gesture by Tim Moriarty, who is a class guy. I like that man. We're tied at 1, and the Islanders have had all they can handle from the Blackhawks. You know, you can win the game so easily in the newspapers, on radio and TV. A little tougher to win it on the ice or on the court, on the diamond. Chicago dumps it in. They have been a much more aggressive team forechecking tonight. Clark Gillies comes to center. His pass is batted away and picked up by Kirk Bowman, who backhands it all the way down. Bowman is now out there in the middle between Hull and Cliff Coral. At times they have used Mikita. At times they have used Pitt Martin. And the forechecking of the Blackhawks pretty good. Islanders have trouble getting out. Gillies comes to center, has it knocked aside, back in the zone, and deflected off the glass into the crowd. Right now we're going to pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is New York Islander hockey.
This is WMCA New York. Hi, I'm John Sterling, and I've got Sports View, my own talk show Monday through Friday from 6 to 10, plus play-by-play day-by-day of basketball, football, hockey, and New York Yankee baseball.
Face-off right outside of the Islander blue line is taken there by Dave Lewis. Dave now sends a cross-ice pass to Denny Potvin. He rattles it off the boards in deep Chicago ice. After it, Gillies banging on the left side boards, and they will hold the puck there for another face-off in deep Chicago ice. Chicago will make a complete change, and so will the Islanders. Islanders send on Jules Drouin, Eddie Westfall, and the rookie Dave Salvian filling in for J.P. Parisi, along with Jean Potvin and Jerry Hart. And Chicago goes with Grant Mulvey on the right wing with Darcy Rhoda on the left and Ivan Boulder up the center. We've got Randy Holt and Dick Redmond. Off the draw now. In the slot, Westfall. Back on the left point to Hart. Hart now on the left boards. His shot is broken up. Rebound, Hart, left corner. He looks to throw in the slot. Instead, he sends it behind the boards. Picked up there by Redmond, and he sends the pass out to center ice. Jean Potvin has there. His pass is broken up in center, picked up by Jean Potvin, and he sends it right back into the Chicago zone. After Randy Holt, he goes behind the cane, sends it around the boards, and all the way out to center ice. Picked up by Jerry Hart. He retreats back to his own blue line. Now Hart looks up ahead in center ice, being forechecked by Rhoda, and he sends the puck all the way down Chicago and right side. Westfall in front. The shot just wide by Salvian. The rebound in front to Drouin, who sends it around the cage. Picked up there by Redmond in back of his own cage. The pass is deflected by Salvian. Picked up by Drouin. Jude looks to center. Jude now sends it back for Salvian. Salvian comes around the goal cage, leaves it in back for Juan. Juan looks to center it. He's held along the boards by Bolderev, and the puck is dumped out to Mulvey, and his pass goes all the way down. After it, Jean Potvin, who touched it in center ice. He goes back to get it behind his own net. He leaves it in back for Jerry Hart. After it is Mulvey. They bang on the boards, but the puck is going to be skated out by Salvian. Ahead for Jude Juan. Jude now comes to center. With a shot, it's deflected high off the glass back of the Chicago cage. Taken there by Redmond. He comes to center, got boarded and knocked down by Juan. And there's a whistle for a stoppage of play. And there will be a face-off back at the Chicago line.
I think they're calling that a two-line pass since it got originated in the Blackhawks zone, and it was finally touched by one of the Blackhawks just outside the Islander blue line. That's the two-line pass. Big check, however, by Drouin on Dick Redmond on the far boards as he tried to get that puck away from him.
And Westphal really set up Salvia before in front of the net. He just missed Fan on the shot. All right, back of the net, Bob Murray of his own net. Dug out by Bourne in the slot for Henning. Tied up there, and his pass out is going to... So it's taken away by Bourne, who goes back in his own end. Throws it across for Dave Lewis. Now a right-wing lead for Nystrom is broken up by Bordelot. Bordelot has it knocked off his stick, taken back by Bob Murray. He comes across. Goes to the right corner. His pass in front to Bordelot. The pass in front for Mulvey. He couldn't get a good shot away, and it's tied up and held by Billy Smith. Dale Talon at the corner of that cage as well. Chicago just playing a lot more aggressively tonight than they did the other night.
And I'll tell you, this starts to become a bit worrisome the way the Islanders are playing, because they're not taking the body as much as they should and could. And with the Blackhawks forechecking as well as they are, starting to make the Islanders look a little shaky in their own zone.
Jim Harrison now on the draw with Lauren Henning. In deep Islander ice, off the draw in the slot. Marks a shot, a big save by Smith. He had to come up with a big save, and he did. Now Bourne leaves it in back for Dave Lewis. His pass out is deflected in center ice and thrown in by Chicago, but this time they are offside as Harrison hadn't cleared before Talon dumped it in. Right now there is a break in the action with the score. The Islanders won and Chicago won.
Hello, Emery. It's 9:30. Do you know where my package is?
Just give me the name and destination, sir.
At Emery, the Air Force and Air Freight, we have a computer tracking system that works like radar. It can tell us exactly where in our system your package is, no matter where in the world it is. And it can tell us just seconds after we ask. So we can tell you just seconds after you ask, no matter how many times you ask.
Hello, Emery. It's 9:31. Do you know where my package is now?
Emery, the Air Force in Air Freight.
Off the face-off, the Islanders dumped it in, and Tony Esposito came out of the goal to try to clear the zone and threw it all the way down, so the icing against the Blackhawks will take it back into the Blackhawk zone for the face-off to the left of Esposito, who has made some good saves in this game, but I think Billy Smith has made tougher saves so far, primarily because the Blackhawks have had some tougher shots on goal. Esposito has played equally well, but not as probably as spectacular as he was Tuesday night, because he hasn't really been tested that much.
Islanders come out with the Saint Laurent line with Howard on the left and McMillan on the right. Jerry Hart and Jean Potvin back. Hawks get Mikita, Coral, and Dennis Hull out, along with Phil Russell and Randy Holt. Off the draw, back of his own cage, Phil Russell, he winds it around the boards for Coral, and he plays out of the zone. We're tied at 1 with 16 and a half minutes remaining in the second period. Back of his own net, Jerry Hart. The only outside score we've had, a 2-0 lead. Hart's pass misses everybody, goes all the way down. It'll be icing on the Islanders on the touch all the way back by Randy Holt. Only score we have outside is Toronto trailing Pittsburgh 2-0 at the end of one in Maple Leaf Gardens. Of course, Toronto loses that game, Bob. They'd have to go back to Pittsburgh to play the third game.
Don't want to do that. Don't ever want to have to do that, especially when you can wrap it up on your home ice, and you started without the home ice advantage. 16:16 to go here in the second period of this game. The Islanders and the Blackhawks tied at 1 apiece. Dennis Hall with a power play goal in the first period. Jude Drouin scoring for the Islanders to tie it up.
Right off the draw now, in back of his own cage, Jerry Hart. He sends it back for Jean Potvin, gets a return, and now sends the pass up to Westphal, knocked off his stick and kept in by Mikita. In the slot, the pass broken up by Jean Potvin, picked up by Jean out behind the cage. His pass on the left side for Howitt. The return is knocked away by Coral. Howitt now picks it up and comes around the cage, and he dumps off the boards and all the way down. It's going to go, I think, on goal. No, it goes by the goal. It should be icing again. And it is, signified by Leon Stickle, the linesman on the touch by Phil Russell. And I'll tell you something, Bob. The Islanders are being forechecked very, very well tonight.
They really are. They expected to see some of this in the first period. And I guess since the Blackhawks are still in the hockey game at a 1-1 tie, they're going to keep doing it and see if they can create some more opportunities. The Islanders really got away with a lot of coming out of their own zone so easily the other night because the Blackhawks just did not forecheck, only sending one guy in. Tonight it's markedly different.
Well, the draw being deep Islander ice. Mikita and Brian Trottier on the face, and is won by Brian. Ahead now for Dave Lewis off his stick and knocked back the other way by Mikita and picked up by Denny Papan. Dennis goes behind his own net. He comes out the right corner, gets a shield from Trottier, he comes up ice. Dennis will lug the puck, and he dumps it in off the boards back of Espo on the left wing. Gillies tries to dig it out. He does. He throws it behind the net, but it eludes Billy Harris. Picked up on the left side of his net by Marks. He sends out Mikita. And Brian Trottier got a bump and broke his stick. He's going to have to get another stick. Now Dennis pass in center ice, comes over the line, kicked by Brian Trottier. He had no stick. Now he gets one, and the puck comes back to center ice. Now Dennis sends ahead for Harris, knocked away by Hull. Dennis all clears to center ice. Here's a lead for Bob Murray. Across with a shot. It is wide. Rebound Murray, the shot. Kick save, and the rebound is dumped in the corner by Gillies. Puck is picked up in the corner by Gillies and Bob Murray, and they hold on in back of the Islander cage. And Bob Murray really should have had a goal. He threw it right on the pad of Billy Smith.
Didn't seem like he shot it very hard either. He could have wound up and really let her rip. But he took rather soft slap shot in the direction of Smitty, so it wasn't that tough a save. The Islander bench was kind of up in arms at the other end of the ice. Marks had knocked down Billy Harris and was sitting on him and wouldn't let him up as the play had gone the other direction, and the Islander players were yelling to Brian Lewis, but of course nothing was called.
Brian Trottier on the draw. In back of his own net, Jerry Hart. 14:45 remaining second period. We're tied at 1. And the Islanders have been effectively throttled by the Hawks in this period. Islanders dub it in the Chicago end, mistaken by Randy Holt. Holt leaves for Boldereff and gets a return, and he just dumps it out to center ice. Picked up by Jerry Hart. Islanders not having the opportunities, as Bob has told you, in this period. Now Billy Harris comes to center. Billy, a left wing lead for Trottier. The shot. Oh, saved by Espo. The glove save. Rebound in back of the net is going to be dug up by Mulvey. Gillies and Randy Holt bang together. And there might be a call-up coming here by referee Brian Lewis, and the Chicago penalty door opens up. And Bob Lawrence will give you the details.
Brian Trottier ended up with that puck, and after he had taken the shot, it was deflected by Esposito to his right. The puck was over in the corner, and Mulvey was going after it, as was Brian Trottier. And Mulvey really blasted into Brian Trottier, took him hard into the boards. Billy Harris came over as if he was going to try to get into something there, but Phil Russell was also there. They were just staring at each other. So Mulvey is the one that's going to be the culprit in all of this. He's going to get 2 minutes. And they call it elbowing. Well, it was a pretty good check, I'll tell you. It was one heck of a blast by Mulvey into Brian Trottier, but it's called elbowing. Time of the penalty will be at 5:48.
Bob, with that Lightning company on the ice, and they're going to come off, at least at the beginning of the power play for the first minute. And the Islanders get on Jujuan with Bobby Bourne on the left and Eddie Westfall on the right. Of course, the Potvin brothers are on the 2 points. Dennis on the left point. Brother Jean on the right point. 14-12 remaining second period. We're tied at 1. Jujuan on the draw. He gets it back on the right point to Jean. Left point, Dennis. Dennis has a shot. Dennis, a shot! Save! Rebound in front is loose, and the rebound is taken by Westfall in front. Sends off right side to Jujuan. Jude now holds the puck. In the slot, Westfall, the shot. Save! Espo, he made a great glove save. Boy, you talk about reflexes. Eddie Westfall was robbed at point-blank range by the glove of Tony O.
And that's more like the Tony O we saw Tuesday night. That may have been one of the better ones at point-blank range. Again, trying to get the shot up in the air was Westfall, but he shot it a little too low. And as a result, Espo had a little easier time of it by just gloving it in his right hand and holding on.
Chicago sends out Stan Mikita to take this draw. And Boldereff goes to the bench. Mikita and Westfall on the draw. Back to Bobby Bourne. Bourne Stick handles in the slot. Bourne now in the slot, right side past Juan. Bourne had gone around his man. He should have taken the shot. Juan on the right side holds the puck. Back on the left point to Dennis. Dennis back to Juan, deflected, and it's going to be cleared down ice by Mikita as he skates over the line. Now he throws back in his own end, looking to open it up and kill some time, and Randy Holt shoots it down. Bourne kind of circled in Chicago's zone, and once he got rid of his man, he really should have taken the shot. All right, here's Gillies to center. Lightning Company will get on. Gillies in the slot. The shot is wide. Carries off the boards and back. Picked up by Russell. He sends it around the boards, not out. And it's kept in by Billy Harris. Billy Harris now left side Gillies. The shot is up high over the boards. Picked up by Juan. Back on the right point to Jean-Paul Van. Left point Dennis. Right side Juan. Juan picks a shot. Takes it. Deflected there by Russell. Good play. And the puck is going to be cleared by Russell all the way down. Phil Russell made a beautiful play. Islanders, Bob, I think have looked just great on the power play.
Some great passing, especially by Denny Potvin, threading the needle to get it to the open man.
All right, here's Dennis now to center ice. Brian is on. Brian Chartier comes across. Is deflected at the left point. Kept in and deflected off the rink by Dennis and Cliff Carl. And the draw will come up at the Chicago blue line. Only 31 seconds remaining in the penalty to Grant Mulvey. And I think the Islanders have had 2 or 3 really great chances to score and have not.
The only one really tough shot on goal was the one that Esposito made on the save of Eddie Westfall. But as you say, really good chances. They just haven't been able to get it through the defense. Again, they're bunching up a bit in front.
All right, now Denny Potvin sends across to Jean at the red center line. Jean dumps it all across to Harris. A lead for Chartier goes in the corner. After it is Marks, he sends it around the boards. It's picked up by Murray, and he will clear it easily down ice. Only about 10 seconds remaining on the penalty. Jean-Paul Van sends ahead for Dennis off his stick. He picks it up and looks to come up ice. 7 seconds remaining. Dennis now leads the rush. A left wing lead for Gillies. He comes across on the left side. Holds up to the left corner. Now back on the left point. Jean-Paul Van in front. The chip by Harris is wide. Rebound Jean-Paul Van. Left side Gillies. Penalty is over. Team's at full strength. Now the pass by Jean-Paul Van goes to the boards right side of the Chicago cage. Picked up by Harris. Billy looks to center it. Billy comes in back of the net. Billy comes out the left side. Centers it. The shot by Gillies. Knocked away in front by Marks. He made a fine defensive play. And Marks will skate it out of the zone and over to Dennis Hull. He comes across. Dennis on his backhand. Then a shot by Mulvey is wide. It caroms around the boards and all the way down ice into the Chicago end. Jean Potvin got a stick up right in Dennis Hull's face as Dennis was coming down ice. Now here is Ivan Boldarev. He comes across the line, left side past Dennis Hull. The shot hit the post. That one went past Billy Smith and hit the post and came out. And the Islanders are playing lucky here. McMillan down ice, right side, centers it in goal mouth. It goes right through goal mouth. Tony Esposito knocked down Howard from behind. And to center ice, Boldarev, his shot comes off the body of Hart, picked up by Brian Chartier. Hull lead McMillan. Billy, and it's a 2-line pass as he waited too long to touch it. There is a break in the action. Score. Islanders 1, Chicago 1.
After the game, you can score big points with a victory celebration at Jack in the Box. Celebrate with a Jumbo Jack hamburger and super scoop of French fries, or a super taco, or drown your sorrow in a big shake. If you can't make it after the game, come later. Restaurants are open 24 hours a day. After the game, pop into a Jack in the Box and have a ball, or a puck, depending on which game you're listening to.
Twice tonight, Billy Smith has gotten help from the post. The last one on Dennis Hull, who's had his fair share of shots on goal. That one was really a blazer. Went by Smitty on the left again, on the glove side to hit the post. That's the second time that's happened.
He flat out had him beat, and that was a goal right there. Dennis Hull has had at least 5 shots on goal. Because he scored 1. All right, Saint Laurent now comes to center ice for the Islanders. A 3-on-3 break. Across the line on the left side. Annie in the corner. Centers it. The shot is deflected. Rebound is dumped out by Chicago. A great centering pass by Ace Saint Laurent. McMillan got it right in front of it. Just couldn't control it and had it deflected off his stick. Now Chicago dumps it across. Batted at by Mulvey. Elaine Day trying to keep it in. He's on the ice one of a few times. Now Price will dump it out of the zone. Price sends to the Chicago end. 10.5 minutes remaining in the period. The middle period, we're tied at 1. Behind his own net, Randy Holt. He sends a lead pass for Elaine Day on the right wing. Now ahead for Dale Talon. Over the line on the left side. Back passing for Day. Day's shot. A save. Rebound. Pitt Martin couldn't get wood on it. He would have had a goal. Smith was out of position after the save on Elaine Day. All right, Jerry Hart now sends ahead for McMillan, and he dumps it in. It is cleared by Tony O to the left side. Day got bumped hard by Howitt. Puck is picked up by Day, and he tries to send it out of the zone. Taken there by Dale Talon. Now Dale Talon comes to center ice. Talon comes to the Islander line. A right wing lead for Day. His pass goes through goal mouth. A centering pass taken away by Nystrom. Bobby now sends ahead for Sam Laurent. A lead for Pat Price. Price comes to the Chicago line, dumps it in. And then Price retreats back on the point. Puck is wound around the boards, but not out. Kept in by Howard along the left boards. Henning centers it in front. And Nystrom the shot. A save by Sam Laurent. And Nystrom is so strong. Russell was holding him off. He still got a little shot away, and Tony Esposito had to go down and make the save in his pants.
I really don't know how Bobby Nystrom ever got that shot off, because Russell had him tied up somehow or other. Nystrom got his stick between Russell's legs and still got the shot away. He couldn't have taken the stick back more than maybe a foot and never got much follow-through on it, more than maybe 6 inches. But it was a good, quick shot. Somehow or other, Esposito was able to hold on to it. 9:21 to go, second period, still tied at 1 apiece in a do-or-die situation for the Blackhawks in a game the Islanders want to close them out here on the Coliseum ice.
You're so right, Bob. They really do not want to play Saturday night. You know, you play one game for the whole season, and you play against a goaltender like Esposito. You just don't want to do that if you don't have to. And the Islanders don't have to if they win tonight. Right off the draw, Johnny Marks clears it down ice to the Islander line, stopped there by Dennis. He sends ahead for Nystrom. Now a lead for Henning is broken up, picked up by Nystrom, and he just bangs it into the Chicago zone. Stopped by Tony O behind his own net, picked up by Murray. He looks to come out. Now he skates up the pipe, bumped from behind by Bourne, and Murray dumps it all the way down. Stopped by Smitty behind his own net. In back of the net, Denny Poppet falls down and decides to hold on in back of his own net. There is a break in the action. With the score, the Islanders won and Chicago won.
You may not be the best Italian cook in your neighborhood, but cooking with real Italian food products by Polio can make you a lot better. It doesn't cost any more to prepare Italian dishes with Polio de Cotte or mozzarella cheese, peeled plum tomatoes or sweet sliced peppers, imported macaroni or breadcrumbs with imported Romano. It doesn't cost any more to cook with Polio, but it certainly makes your Italian dishes taste better. Today, put some real Italian flavor in your shopping cart. Look for Polio at your favorite food store.
Off the draw, Marks' shot is deflected from the left point by Nystrom, and it goes deep in the crowd. In the second period, down at the Omni, Bob, Atlanta has a 2-1 lead over Los Angeles as they bid to make that a 3-game series. Guy Chouinard and Kurt Bennett have scored for the Flames, and Marcel Dion, not a new experience for him, scoring for L.A.
Let's turn that series into a more interesting one. The one game that's going to start late, and I'm sure we're going to be a while getting anything out of it, is that Buffalo-Minnesota series. And I wouldn't give that edge to Buffalo by any stretch of the imagination.
No, Minnesota played them very tough the other night. They're playing up in Bloomington. All right, off the draw now. Jerry Hart comes across. Left side. Jerry, a shot is deflected by Marks. I thought Jerry had an angle, too. Out of the zone. A lead for Grant Mulvey is too long. Whacked out the other way by Salvian. He and Mulvey come together. Now the puck is deflected off the rink and into the crowd, and we'll have another face-off in neutral ice.
Salvian got a little bit upset at Mulvey because when Mulvey was trying to forward the puck, the stick came up on his follow-through and caught Salvian about chin high. Salvian looked like he was going to go back at him with the stick, but thought better of it. The Islanders must be careful of that sort of situation, as we mentioned before, not to take any cheap penalties. The Blackhawks are tough on the power play. All 3 of their goals in the series so far have been on the power play.
Jean Pauvin out of his own end, dumps it out, stopped by Elaine Day. He's bumped from behind by Salvian. Good defensive play. Now here's the lead for Westfall. He guns it in off the boards. After it's Salvian taken out of the play by Holt. It's loose in back of the cage, picked up by Westfall. He looks to center. There's going to be a penalty. No, there's going to be maybe a hand pass by the Islanders. Now here's Brian Lewis skating to the scorer's table, and Salvian will go off. There will be a penalty on Salvian behind the net as he unceremoniously dumped down Elaine Day.
He and Holt were rather tied up behind the net, and Salvian going after the puck kind of did a necktie tackle, it appeared, and Brian Lewis called it immediately. Dave Salvian, who has scored his first point in National Hockey League competition by assisting on the Islanders' goal scored by Jules Drouin, now gets his first National Hockey League penalty. Holding is the call at 11:56. And the Islanders have another penalty to kill. This will be the second power play of this game for the Blackhawks.
Lorne Henning and Eddie Westfall are out, of course, killing it along with Denny Potvin and Dave Lewis. And the Blackhawks throw the puck away into the Islanders' zone, but Lewis will pick it up, and he should be able to clear the zone, and he does, banging it down ice. The Hawks have Dale Talon and Dick Redmond out there, and the forward line is Darcy Rota, Ivan Boldarev, Grant Mulvey. All right, here to center ice, a lead now for Rota on the left side. Knocked away by Denny Potvin. He dumps it down ice. Dennis Potvin has just been the consummate defenseman in this playoff series in every aspect of the game, in all three zones. Now Darcy Rota to center ice is turned back, has to leave it in back for Dick Redmond. Chicago having trouble coming up ice. Dale Talon at his own line sends ahead for Mulvey, who plays it in. After it, Rota goes behind the net. He winds it around the boards, but Westfall intercepts and clears the zone. And the Islanders have now killed a minute of that penalty on Salvian. 7 minutes remaining, second period. We're tied at 1. Blackhawks on the power play. John Sterling and Bob Larson at the Coliseum. Westfall's forechecking sends Mulvey back with his own net, where he drops for Talon. Now the return from Mulvey comes to center ice. A lead for Dale Talon. He comes across, stops at the left point, knocked aside, and dumped over the line by Henning. And it's stolen by Henning. Henning down the right side. Henning comes over the line right side. Goes to the right corner. Centers it through Gomel. Picked up by Lewis. Lewis in the right corner. Didn't have a shot. And he dumped it in back of the Blackhawk net. 25 seconds remaining on the Salvian penalty as Dick Redmond looks to come up ice for Chicago. He sends ahead for Talon. A lead pass for Rota, who comes across. He got bumped by Denny Potvin. Rota goes in the corner, centers it, but is cleared from Gomel by Westfall. Westfall behind the net, loses to Rota, regains. Westfall skates around the net, and he will skate it up ice. Now Westfall takes the middle. The Islanders have a 3-on-2. A lead for Westfall to Henning is knocked aside, picked up by Eddie, and Eddie now skates it out of the zone, not realizing the penalty is over. Denny Potvin comes across. The penalty is over. His pass is broken up, though, by Mikita, and we go the other way. Mikita to the Islander line. Mikita deals to the right side. His back pass stolen by Harris. Here's a legitimate 2-on-1. Harris and Henning. Now Harris down ice. The trailer is Gillies. Gillies in the slot. The shot. Goal! Islander goal! Islander goal! A 2-on-1 that became a 3-on-2. Gillies, the trailer, got the pass. He fired it home. And the Islanders take a 2-1 lead.
That is the first goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs for Clark Gillies. The assist to Billy Harris. Time of the goal is going to be at 14-18, and the Islanders, who not only completely killed that penalty of call against Dave Salvian, limited the, I don't think the Blackhawks actually taken one shot on goal in that entire 2-minute period. Gillies comes up for the go-ahead goal. Billy Harris gets the assist at 14-18. The Islanders lead it 2-1.
All right, on the draw now. Harrison center ice, a lead for Gillies. Gillies over the line, left side. Gillies, a shot, saved by Espo, cleared by Russell in the crowd. A great trailer play by the Islanders before Gillies, the trailer, got the puck and fired it home. Right now there is a break in the action. Score, Islanders 2, Chicago 1.
This is a Crazy Eddie commercial for people who hate Crazy Eddie commercials. Just remember, when you're looking for audio equipment, color TV, car stereo, CB, anything in home entertainment equipment, there's only one man to see, Crazy Eddie. His prices won't be beat, and Crazy Eddie has all the big-name brands. Everything is brand new. He never sells demos, seconds, or closed-out merchandise. Crazy Eddie stands behind all manufacturers' warranties, and he services what he sells. Visit one of the great Crazy Eddie locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Syosset, Long Island, or call 645-1196 for a free price quote.
All right, off the face-off, Chicago comes down ice. Russell dumps it in. It is played right back out of bounds by Gillies all the way down. No question will be icing on the Islanders unless someone touched it. They did not. And Gerard Gauthier says icing, and the face-off comes the other way. Islanders have that 2-1 lead off the goal by Gillies. And that was a great 2-on-1 that became a 3-on-2 and a great trail pass to Gillies. You could actually see that goal coming up ice.
Really good, and it's a fitting birthday present to himself. As we mentioned, Clark celebrating his 23rd birthday today. To get that Stanley Cup goal, it is his 7th career Stanley Cup playoff goal, and the first of this season. 2-1 Islanders lead it. Drouin tied it up in the first period after Dennis Hull had put the Blackhawks ahead on a power play goal.
Captain Clark. Right, face off deep Islander end. Off the draw. Gillies along the left boards is knocked down, and the puck is taken away by Brian Trottier. He sends Billy Harris out of the zone. Now Billy comes to center. Billy to the Chicago line. He comes across, sends a pass and back in that for Gillies. Clark comes around on the right side. The point is open. There's Jean Potvin. His drive is tipped in front. This shot by Brian. Save in front. Tony Esposito just took one away from Brian Trottier. Now here's something. And there is someone injured on the play because Bob Murray is taking the Chicago trainer out there. And I believe it's going to be Randy Holt who's going to limp off. Oh, Holt must have been struck because there is blood on him as he is coming off. And he was struck up along the face. And Ron Wowski, the Islander trainer, comes out with a cold towel. But Bob, you saw it. When Brian got that inside the net, everything stopped. He stopped, Tony stopped, and it was a little fake, a little one-on-one, a little deke. Brian made his move, and Espo was right there, and that was an exceptional play.
Great part about it, which is typical of the heads-up play by a guy like Brian Trottier. He got the puck about 10 feet to the left side of the goal, had a good angle, waited for Esposito to make a move, then tried to pull it around and tuck it in behind him, but Espo recovered well and covered it up. I wouldn't say he stopped him once. I think he stopped him twice.
You know, when Espo made the move, I figured it was a goal right away. Yep. And somehow he got back. I don't know how he got back. All right, Chicago clears the zone. Islanders with that 2-1 lead. Here's Davey Lewis in center. A lead for Nystrom is too long, goes all the way down. Touchdown by Mark Sising is called as it was shot from the Islander half of center ice. Right now there is a break in the action. With the score, the Islanders 2 and Chicago 1.
If the right place for you is Atlanta, Eastern Airlines has the right time for you. Eastern has 13 non-stops from New York to Atlanta, conveniently scheduled throughout the day, every day. Eastern is Atlanta's biggest airline with 251 daily flights to 96 cities. And remember, there are no lower airfares from New York to Atlanta than Eastern's. So for reservations, call the travel specialist, your travel agent, or Eastern Airlines. Eastern's got the right time and the right place for you.
All right, out the face-off, Chicago keeps it in the left point. Marks his shot, and it hit Denny Potvin. He tries to hold on. He couldn't do it. The shot is taken saved by Smith. Denny Potvin tried to go down and hold that puck, and he could not do it. And Denny Potvin is slow getting up, but hopefully he'll be okay.
I think he took that shot in the side of the helmet, but it was partially deflected so that it slowed it up, or he could have been wondering what day it is. Denny's a pretty tough guy, but I don't care who you are. When you take a puck in the side of the head, even with a helmet, that's got to hurt a little bit.
And I'll tell you this, I can't understand a guy not playing without a helmet. It's much easier for broadcasters if they don't, because they're much more identifiable. But, well, I'll tell you what, I'd wear a helmet, face mask, and a plate of armor. Off the draw, Marks takes a soft shot on goal, blocked by Smitty, and Bourne clears it out of the zone. Stopped, though, by Elaine Day. He is turned around, loses to Jean Potvin, who comes the other way. Jean to center ice. A lead for Juju into the slot. The backhander is blocked by Murray. Picked up by Bourne. He throws back to the open right point. Jean Potvin there. Now the open left point is Jerry Hart. His shot! Oh, hit the post. Hit the side of Espo on the post. Rebound, Nystrom. Nystrom now throws it out on the point to Hart. Hart could not keep it in. It came over the line. He couldn't keep it in. And it was called as he drove it right back into the zone. Right now, we're going to pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is New York Islander hockey.
This is WMCA Strauss Communications in New York. Hi, I'm Sally Jesse Raphael, here with you every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We try to exchange ideas and ideologies to produce a better product. You. Join us, won't you?
John Sterling and Bob Lawrence, Coliseum, middle period, 3:36 remaining. Islanders lead it 2-1. Off the jaw, Jerry Hart blasted into the Chicago zone. Is picked up by John Marks. Marks, his lead pass is stopped in center ice by Hart. And Jerry sends ahead for Andy Saint Laurent. He makes a move on the left side, ahead for Howitt. Down the left corner to the left goal line. Howard tries to play it back in the cage, knocked away by Marks, picked up by Saint Laurent. In the left side of the net, Saint Laurent turned around and knocked down by Murray. They bang, and they're not ready to go, as Murray wanted to get back in the action, stop a goal, and Chicago clears it to center ice. Ahead for Alain Day. He comes to the Islander line. He avoids the check by Saint Laurent, but loses the puck in the process, and is picked up by Andy Saint Laurent. Sends across for Jean Potvin. He plays off the boards to center ice, dumped back in by the Hawks and taken away by Jerry Hart at his own blue line. And he plays it down softly to Chicago end, so icing is not called. Islanders make a change, get the Lightning Company on. In center ice, Dale Talon ahead for Marks. Marks leads the rush. He comes across the line. He plays it to the right corner, and he runs Hart in the boards, and Hart takes a swipe at him, and the puck is dumped out by the Islanders to center ice. Kirk Bowman will skate it down in his own end, and now he looks to come up ice. A lead pass on the left side for Boldyrev. Ahead for Russell. Back passing for Boldyrev. He goes to the left corner, cuts in back of the on net. He got run into the boards by Brian Trottier, taken away by Billy Harris. Now Brian in his own end looks up ice. Harris streaking ahead of the play. Trottier comes to center. Brian comes over the line right side. Dipsy Doodle has it knocked off his stick by Russell and picked up and back by Mulvey. He got tripped and taken down. There's a penalty right there. Brian Trottier will go off on a trip. Bill Russell to center ice. Russell plays it across the line. When it's touched down by Harris, the whistle by Brian Lewis, and the penalty is going to be called a trip by Brian Trottier, and the Islanders will have to spend the rest of this period one man down.
Brian Lewis is going to call it a hook on Brian Trottier, and Brian Trottier is going to tell Brian Lewis, same to you, fella, because he didn't agree with the call. Brian Trottier Did they add an additional penalty on that? Is that what I thought I heard him say? I guess not. Trottier just gets the hook call. That's why I was hesitating. I thought the public address announcer had mentioned there was an additional something added on. Time of the penalty is 18:10. Brian Trottier goes off for hooking, and this will be the third power play opportunity for Boston. They were 2 for 4 on Tuesday night. They've been 1 for 2 so far tonight. Islanders lead it 2-1 here at the closing minute 50 of this second period. And I might mention, while I have a chance coming up between periods, one of the most colorful guys in the whole world, not only just in the hockey world, in the whole world, Marcel Pelletier of the Flyers.
Marcel, he can make a living just going on in between periods. Everyone loves to talk to him. He's their chief scout, and that'll be a great interview. Bob and Marcel Pelletier. All right, off the draw now. Hawks keep it in. Right point, Cliff Coral. He has the pass knocked away by Henning and all the way down ice. Good move by Lorne Henning. Henning and Westfall, Davey Lewis, Dennis Potvin, they're killing the penalty. Let's look at the Hawk power play. They've got Stan Mikita out there with a great Dennis Hull, Cliff Coral, Phil Russell, and Redmond. Across the line, Hull. He loses control in the slot. Banged away by Henning, not cleared. Kept in by Redmond. Redmond loses to Denny Potvin, and the Islanders going to have a 3-on-2. Ahead for Henning. Lorne Henning across. Right wing pass, Westfall. The shot. Oh, a save by Tonio. He made another great save. Oh, he is something else, Tony Esposito. Now to center ice, Coral. Knocked off his stick by Westfall. Westfall steals in center. Westfall rags in center. Westfall throws back in his own end for Denny Potvin. Denny makes a move up ice. Dennis comes over the line. Dennis now left side. The wrist shot. A kick save by Tonio. And Chicago clears the puck and is taken away by Davey Lewis. 45 seconds left in the period. And now in center ice, Lorne Henning. Henning comes across. He back passes all the way down to his own end to Denny Potvin. As the Islanders continue to kill his penalty magnificently. Denny Potvin leaves for Davey Lewis. Davey behind his own net. He sends behind his own net for Westfall. Westfall around the net, and he clears to center ice. 25 seconds left in the period. Across the line comes Bob Murray. A right-wing lead for Grant Mulvey. Mulvey goes behind the net, tries to center, knocked away by Davey Lewis. Behind the net, Lewis holds Murray, and they'll get a face-off with only 14 seconds remaining in the period. And how about that Tonio? On a shorthand situation, he had to make 2 great saves. One on Dennis Potvin and one on Eddie Westfall.
The Islanders getting those 2 shots. The Blackhawks have yet to get a shot on Billy Smith, and they're the ones that have the extra man. I guess we really shouldn't be too surprised at the play of the Islanders tonight. They always play well on the road.
They're a great road team. They're wearing the road blue. Chicago's listed as the home team on the scoreboard. Phil Russell said we ought to stay in the Islander home zone. All right, Westfall will take this draw. 14 seconds now remaining in the second period. Off the draw, Smitty clears it around the boards. Picked up by Kirk Bowman, left to his net. His pass stolen by Henning. And the Islanders now, if they want to, can have a break. Henning fires from center. Blocked by Tony O. 3 seconds in the period. 2, 1. That's it.
You say Phil Russell thinks they ought to stay in the Islanders' home. They could. The Islanders are not staying there. They're staying in the motel where they're being sequestered during the playoffs.
Not that, but they're staying there, not even being sequestered. Minnesota in the first period has a tie game going with Buffalo, the Sabres and the North Stars.
Back here at the Coliseum, the teams are back on the ice, about ready to resume play. I never had a chance to mention it, John, but do you know when the Islanders did wear home blue, or road blue at home once before? And I will tell you when that was, since we're about ready to play here. Well, I guess maybe we have to wait a minute. I'll hold my answer for later.
Oh, gee.
Great trivia question, I'll tell you.
Okay, off the face-off. I can't wait. Dennis Potvin sends to center ice. Islanders trying to wrap it up tonight. They lead 2-1 as we begin play in the third period. Chicago has to score this game, and series is over. Darcy Rota comes across the line. Ahead for Boldarev. Boldarev's pass is knocked away and deflected by Denny Potvin, who comes to center ice. Dennis now a right wing lead for Lauren Henning. Back passing for Trottier. His shot is broken up behind the net. Lauren Henning, he centers it. Deflected by Boldarev, and he looks to come out of the zone. Ivan Boldarev comes to center. He slaps from center, is blocked and deflected by Dennis Potvin, who sends out Brian Trottier. Brian comes across with Billy Harris. And now Brian looks to come to center ice. He comes over the line, but loses control to Boldarev, who comes the other way. He's yanked from behind by Gillies off the puck, and Clark dumps it in. Chicago will have to be on the attack here. They're down 2-1, and this game will be over, and series will be over unless they score. Now the Blackhawks clear the puck at center ice, stopped there by Jean Potvin. He dumps it ahead for Gillies, loses to Dennis Hull. Hull comes to center. Hull fires it on goal. 6 save made by Billy Smith, and is picked up in back of his own cage by Billy Harris.
Is Dennis Hull strong or what? That was a wrist shot from center ice.
And it was hard, too. Right across the line is Bob Murray, and he dumps it in. Picked up by Gillies. He winds it around the boards for Harris on the right wing, but is stopped by Hull. He plays it in back after it is Cliff Carl. Carl got mashed on the boards by Trottier, and the puck is going to be held onto by Jerry Hart. Now, you asked me when, if ever, did the Islanders ever wear blue at home before?
They did. Second game they ever played here at the Coliseum. It was in 72, their opening season. They played their first game in their home uniforms, then played the second game in their road uniforms just to show the fans what they look like. And they beat Pittsburgh that night 3-2.
Yeah, it was on October 3, 1972. Off the jaw. Murray, the shot is wide. Is deflected in goal. Nah, I didn't really know that. Danny Bartolucci did for some reason. I have no idea why he knew it, but he did. Bless him. To center ice McMillan. Billy comes across, and it's a 2-line pass. And it is noted as such, and the faceoff will occur in deep Islander end. 18:03 remaining. And will there only be 18:03 remaining in the Blackhawks season? Blackhawks have played the Islanders tough tonight. They've hit 2 posts. Stan Mikita and Dennis Hull flat out hit the inside of the post. And Islanders have this 2-1 lead.
If they should be eliminated, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They played pretty well.
Yes, they did. Played both games on the Islander ice. First game, they really just had a goaltender. But tonight, they played a solid team game. All right, Hart sends off the boards a little too long for Howitt. It goes all the way down. The touch by Johnny Marks, and it will be icing. And the icing call is made by linesman Leon Stickle. There is a break in the action with the score. The Islanders 2 and Chicago 1.
If the right place for you is Atlanta, Eastern Airlines has the right time for you. Eastern has 13 non-stops from New York to Atlanta, conveniently scheduled throughout the day. Every day. Eastern is Atlanta's biggest airline with 251 daily flights to 96 cities. And remember, there are no lower airfares from New York to Atlanta than Eastern's. So for reservations, call the travel specialist, your travel agent, or Eastern Airlines. Eastern's got the right time and the right place for you.
Face off in Deep Islander ice. Off the draw. It's picked up by Jerry Hart. Hart plays it in back of his own net for Jean Potvin, and he sends ahead for McMillan. Billy skates to center. Now to Hart. He plays it into Saint Laurent. In front. Saint Laurent, the shot. Oh, save! A stick save by Espo. He stole a goal from Saint Laurent. Stopped at the left point by Hart. His pass deflected, and Harrison comes the other way. Harrison to the line with a slap shot high over the cage, off the glass and back, and McMillan comes out. He sends along the boards to center ice Saint Laurent. 2-on-1. Saint Laurent to Howard. In front, the shot. Oh, save by Esposito. A better save than he's made. A lead for Elaine Day. He comes across. He tries to carry it through. It's knocked aside. The Islanders have had 2 open shots on goal, and Espo has made 2 of the best saves I've ever seen. Across the line, Saint Laurent. He loses the puck, and Dale Talon sends out Jimmy Harrison. He comes across with a blast. It's over the cage, off the glass, and it bounds into center ice. Howard in center. Islanders going to make a change, and Howard fires it on goal, glove down by Espo. Now, those are the 2 best saves I think I've seen. The second save was, I don't know what other word you can use. What a save by Tony O. Howard had him beaten easily, and he somehow got the arm up. Now across comes Westfall. A lead for Juan, knocked away, and knocked off the boards to center ice by Rhoda. His lead pass is overskated by Mulvey and dumped right back in again by Dave Salvian. Blackhawks taking chances. They're down 2-1. It almost cost them 2 goals. Out of his zone comes Darcy Rhoda on left wing. He skates to the end of the line. He comes across. He backpasses for Mulvey. His shot is deflected. It's caught by Billy Smith, and he will hold on. There is a break in the action. Score. Islanders 2, Chicago 1.
Bob, I have a confession to make.
Right here? This isn't the most private place you know. New York is listening.
Well, that's okay. I did something wrong, and I'm man enough to admit it.
Wow.
The other day, I claimed your Baby Ruth bar was my Baby Ruth bar and ate it. I haven't slept since. So in asking for your forgiveness, I'm offering you this Butterfinger.
Oh, sure, John. Of course I forgive you.
Thanks. Confession is good for the soul. I feel I've earned something special.
Like what?
Like your Butterfinger.
Boy, John, are you corrupt. And right in front of New York.
On the face-off, Bolderoff steals and deep Islander ice, centers it for Murray. His shot is deflected in front. Mulvey is being held, and the puck is kicked out of the zone by Davey Lewis. Now Brian trying to his pass broken up by Marks, and if he hadn't gotten a stick on that, Westfall would have been absolutely away. The Blackhawks have to gamble, but it almost has cost them. They have been saved by 2 incredible saves this period by Tony O. Murray in center ice to Bolderoff, and he bounces it in. Stopped by the big stick of Billy Smith. He leaves him back for rookie Salvia, and he backpasses in his own end. And Denny Potvin will lead the rush. He comes up ice beautifully. Denny Potvin comes to center. Dennis now a left wing lead, and offside in the play was Salvia. Bob?
Well, the Islanders could virtually try to sit on a lead like this, but they're not likely to, nor should they in many ways, because with only a 1-goal lead and Esposito playing even stronger, I think, in this period than he did in the first 2. In the first game Tuesday night, he started to show signs of being a lot weaker in that third period and did, in effect, give up 4 goals. But he's been stronger. The Blackhawks have got to gamble on occasion. The Islanders just got to be able to take advantage of those gambles and get a couple of goals or 2, at least 1, to try to put this game on ice. Otherwise, it's going to be still a very tight game.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, they'll never have any better chance than they've had already. Or Dennis Hull comes to center. He comes across on the right side, dumping it all the way down. Picked up by Hardy, got boarded and knocked down by Dennis Hull. They slide on the puck, and it is underneath them, and the face-off will come up in deep Islander ice. The only better chance the Islanders have from scoring than Howard and Saint Laurent each had will be when Tonio has to vacate that net, if he has to vacate it, and then someone skates in alone on an empty net.
Believe it. He just really superb saves. Saint Laurent really had him deked out of position, and Espo managed to get the stick on that shot. Howard had him deked out of position, and he managed to get his glove hand up and stop that shot.
Now behind his own cage, Jean Potvin, the Islanders are 14 minutes and 40 seconds from winning this game and ending this elimination round series. Jean Potvin dumps it back in his own end for Jerry Hart. Islanders are up 2-1. Hart's lead pass is broken up by the stick of Phil Russell, and Jean Potvin whistles it in. Left side of the net, Bobby Bourne, he goes behind the net. Nystrom's cruising the slot. Bourne on the right side throws back on the right point. Jean Potvin's shot is deflected by Russell and dumped out of the zone. And regained in center ice by Jerry Hart. He caroms off the boards to center ice. Broken up by Pitt Martin, but taken away by Lauren Henning of the Islanders. Back on his own blue line to Jean Potvin. Now a lead is tipped in by Bourne. Espo out of that to clear. He does so along the right boards for Dennis Hull, and he jumps out to center ice. Stopped by Davy Lewis there. He comes to center, and he plays it all the way down. Islanders 2, Chicago 1, 13:50 remaining in the game. Dick Redmond has behind his own net. He sends off to Phil Russell, and Russell a lead in center ice for Pitt Martin. He plays all the way down. Stopped in back of his net by Billy Smith. Smithy winds it around the boards for Bourne. He can't control. Martin sends back on the point to Murray. Bob Murray plays it in off the boards and back of the Islander net, stopped by Smith. But the Islanders have kept Chicago out of the middle of their ice, keeping them on the boards. Now Lorne Henning comes to center. A lead on the right side for Nystrom is going to go right in on goal, cleared by Esposito at the last minute and picked up by Pitt Martin. He leaves for Phil Russell. Now Russell looks to move up ice. Russell comes to center, dumps it in center for Dennis Hull. He is bumped off the play and is picked up and back by Davy Lewis. He leaves it in back for Denny Potvin. A right wing pass ahead for Nystrom off his stick. Nystrom picks it up in center, knocked off the stick by Dale Talon, taken away by Brian Trotty. He comes over the line, broken up by Jim Harrison, who comes to center, but he comes up alone. Harrison comes over the line, veers to the right, throws in the slot, knocked aside and cleared by Jean Potvin, but it goes in the crowd. The faceoff will be in the Islander end. There is a break in the action with the score. The Islanders 2 and Chicago 1.
This is Roderick Crawford on the highway for AC Delco. Don't commit highway robbery. The next time you change your oil, be sure you check on your oil filter, too. If it needs changing, be sure it's replaced with a quality AC oil filter. AC filters help protect more new American cars than any other brand. They can help protect you against expensive engine wear. Look, come on, play it smart. Wherever you go for parts or service, come flat out and tell them you want an AC oil filter. And tell them Broderick Crawford said hello.
At our next opportunity, we'll give our network stations a chance for station identification, so stay right with us. Off the draw, Jerry Hart in his own end. Sends him back for Jean Potvin. He's being forechecked by Harrison. He goes back behind his net, sends the pass off to Gillies. He just dumps to center ice. The burden of proof is now on the Blackhawks. 12:30 remaining in the game in the third period. They're down 2-1. They must score or this playoff series is over. Billy Harris knocks it away from Elaine Day. They tangle in back. They bang each other in back of the net. The puck is loose in back, picked up by Brian Trottier. Tries to send out to the right side. He does. Throws back on the point. Jean Potvin's shot is deflected wide by defenseman Murray. Picked up by Harris. He leaves in back for Gillies. Clark in back of the net. Now wants to center it. Gillies goes on the left side of the net. He leaves it in back for Brian Trottier. Brian leaves now for Gillies, who comes around the net, centers it back to Jean Potvin with a blast. It is blocked in front by Harris. Picked up by Gillies. His shot is caught by Harris. The rebound in front is deflected by Trottier, who is knocked off the play by Murray. And out of his own end comes Harrison. A lead for Elaine Day. A right side pass is broken up, and Hart leads the rush. Here's a 3-on-2. Hart, the middleman. Jerry comes across. In the slot is knocked aside from behind by Redmond and dumped back to center ice by the Hawks. 11:30 remaining in the game. Lightning Company, they have been absolutely brilliant tonight. They have been working and digging and banging, and they have just played some great hockey tonight. Now Johnny Marks comes to center for Chicago. Ahead for Day. His pass in the slot is broken up by Dennis Potvin, taken away as he sends out Lewis. In center ice, the pass is regained by John Marks, who backskates in his own end. Looks to clear out of the zone. He does on the left side for Rhoda. His pass broken up by Howitt, who dumps it ahead in to his own blue line to Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent cross-ice pass to Dennis. A right-wing lead for McMillan is gloved and held by Darcy Rhoda. Right now, we're going to pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is New York Islander hockey.
This is WMCA New York. Hi, I'm John Sterling, and I have Sports View, my own talk show Monday through Friday from 6 to 10, plus football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. WMCA, sports for all seasons.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, Pittsburgh has a 4-2 lead over Toronto in the middle of that second period in Toronto. The Islanders dump it in. Tricky bounce, gloved by Tony O. Pittsburgh trying to make that 3-game series, and the third game will be back in Pittsburgh. They lead Toronto 4-2 middle of the second period. At his own blue line, Dick Redmond, he sends across to Phil Russell. A lead is tipped into the zone by Boldyrev and picked up by Dave Lewis behind his net. Islanders pressing the attack, even though they lead 2-1, 10:15 remaining in the game. Gary Howard dumps it in and goes after it. Boldyrev behind the net sends the pass blindly off the boards to center ice. Skated down by Dennis Potvin in his own end. Icing has been waved off as the puck slowed down. Dennis regains at his own goal line. His lead pass broken up by Boldyrev. Boldyrev in front of the net dumps it across on the left side of the net, taken there by Rhoda. He can't control. In back of the net, Grant Mulvey digs it out. Mulvey comes out the left corner. Mulvey in the slot for Rhoda, knocked away from behind by Saint Laurent. Good back checking by Andy Saint Laurent. He comes up ice alone. Islanders will get a line change. Saint Laurent over the line. Now circles back to center, and he dumps it in, and he will go off. You'll see a lot of short shifting of lines now. Mikita left the puck in the back, and Russell skated right by it, but luckily it was picked up by Murray. And his pass to center ice goes all the way down. It is going to be cleared by Billy Smith on his left side, picked up by Dave Salvian, the rookie left wing, on with Westfall and Juan. Now on the right side, Eddie Westfall looks to come out of the zone. Ahead for Juan. He comes over the line on the left side. Makes a good move on the left boards. In the slot, Salvian, the shot. Saved by Espo. Oh, he robbed that kid again. Salvian left corner. In the slot, Juan. Passes off on the right point to Jean Potvin. Jean Potvin, the shot. Save Espo. Rebound. Hold by Espo. Tony O. Boy, if the Islanders should win this, he deserves a standing ovation at the end of this game. Tony O.
The Islanders and their fans ought to be glad that they're not going to have to look at him again if the Islanders are able to hold on and win this one. Out-of-town scoreboard, Atlanta leads Los Angeles 3-2 at the end of the second period. Atlanta 3, LA 2, and Atlanta up against it, as it were. They got to win that one on their home ice. The Islanders lead this one 2-1 with 8:50 to go here in the third period. Islanders getting more chances this period, I think, than they've had in the two previous ones. On a cumulative basis, I should say, but still, Tony O is as strong as he was in the first period. He looks like he's a little tired, but he manages to reach back and grab that little extra something or other to come up with a save when he needs him.
He should be a little tired. That man has played 70 hockey games this year. They do not have the two-goalie system in Chicago. Right off the draw, Westfall along the boards is banged by Marks, and Dennis Hull digs it out, and he sends out of the zone. Now Bob Murray, a lead for Dennis Hull across. He's dangerous, but he's taken to the boards by Jean Pav, and he centers it. It is cleared by Jerry Hart, in back of the net, picked up by Murray. He is knocked down by Hart. The puck is picked up and back by Juan. He tries to clear the zone, and Salvian does whisk it to center ice. Now it's played right back in again by Marks off the boards, but Chicago hadn't cleared the zone. It'll be offside. One of the reasons, Bob, of course. At the end of the first period, Buffalo now leads Minnesota 3-1. Now Buffalo signing a warning right there. We're going to resume where we left off last year when the Islanders beat Buffalo 4-2 in that quarterfinal series. Anyway, the Islanders getting more chances, of course, Bob, because Chicago is taking more chances.
I think it's a little bit scary about this game right now. The Islanders really ought to get another goal here before too much longer, because if Chicago should come up with one, it's a brand new hockey game. And you don't want that to happen and give them a chance to either win it in overtime and possibly go to the Saturday night game.
Right off the draw, Chicago dumps it in, picked up by Bobby Nystrom. Nystrom winds it around the boards in back of his cage, and Bourne dumps it out of the zone. Puck's going to slow down. It will not be icing. After Dick Redmond and Nystrom, they bang on the boards in back of the net. It is taken by Redmond. He falls on top of the puck and holds on. The crowd, of course, would like a delay of game, but they're not about to get one. The Islanders lead it 2-1. 7:48 remaining in the third period, and we don't say final anymore in Stanley Cup. Obviously, there are no ties. You can go 15 overtimes if necessary before you settle it. Dale Talon will take the draw with Lorne Henning. Left face-off circle, right side of Tonio. 7:48 remaining in the game. 2-1. Islanders. Off the draw, Jim Harrison regains behind his cage. He sends it around the board, stopped by Nystrom, right side of the cage. Nystrom sends it, heading the shot. Oh, close save by Tony O. Loney Henning had the lower left-hand corner ticketed. And Tony O with those great reflexes. Made a great glove save.
Well, you're not supposed to be able to move that quick, old fella. But he's doing it just like he was the other night. And he's getting stronger and stronger. The Islander fans, I think, might do a little bit, if they would get involved in this game a little bit more. As we mentioned many times, they tend to be on the quiet side.
Phil Russell to center. A lead for Dale Talon goes all the way down. He's knocked down by Nystrom, too. Bobby picks it up and back. He sends it around the boards for Bourne. Bourne is being bumped along the boards by Harrison. Now it's picked up by Dave Lewis. Bourne trying to work it free, and he does. And he just dumps it out of the zone very softly and on net. Cleared by Espo to center ice. Stopped by Dennis Potvin. Just over 7 remaining in the game. Now Dick Redmond in his own blue line. Circles, and he comes to center ice. Dick Redmond comes across. A left wing lead for Talon, the shot. Oh, good arm save by Billy Smith. Rebound kicks off left side, and Lewis will clear the zone. Ahead, Nystrom. He comes across. He is bumped down by Murray, and they're going to call a hooking penalty or tripping penalty on Bob Murray. And the Islanders will go on the power play. Breaking the action score. Islanders 2, Chicago 1.
Is this the place I go to ship a package to Fargo, North Dakota?
Yes, this is the place.
Can you get it on the next plane? Why are you smiling like that?
See that plane taking off?
Yes.
That was the next plane to Fargo, North Dakota.
At Emory, you don't miss the boat when you miss the plane, because we're on practically every airline that carries freight, plus charters, commuters, and even planes of our own. So even if you miss one plane, there'll always be another one.
Hello, Emory? Help.
Emory, the Air Force in air freight.
Bob Murray gets 2 minutes in the slammer for tripping. Time of the penalty will be 13:10 of this third period. A tough break for the Blackhawks, who cannot afford to be a man down at this point of the hockey game and possibly give up a power play goal. It could really put this game on ice for the Islanders. And the Blackhawks were not at all pleased with that call by Brian Lewis, but nevertheless, the Islanders go on the power play. Their third power play opportunity of this game. They have yet to score a power play goal, but they do lead it 2-1 with 6:50 to play in the game. In the third period, I correct myself.
Off the draw now, Dennis Potvin left point. His shot, a glove save by Espo, and he holds on. That was a very, very good call by Brian Lewis, but yet a tough call. But it's our feeling, Bob and I have said this for the last few years, they had to make the same call with 2 minutes ago as they would with 2 minutes gone by in the first period. Agreed. Bobby Nystrom made a move on Murray, and Murray did reach out and trip and knock him down. Brian Chartier on the draw, sends back on the right point now to Jean Potvin. Jean Potvin has a shot, doesn't take it. Throws across to Dennis, left point, gets a return. Jean Potvin in the slot now for Gillies. Back passing for Harris, a shot. Kick save by Espo. Rebound is deflected in the air by Russell. Kept in by Harris to right side to Truddy. In the slot, Dennis. Dennis the shot. Kick save by Espo. Rebound is Jean Potvin. His shot is deflected, and it goes to the crowd. Boy, and I'll tell you, I would like to reach out and give an MVP award right now to Tony O. He is scintillating. He is marvelous. He has played above and beyond the call of duty in this series. He made some out-of-sight saves just then on the Islanders.
He really has. He has played just like his advanced billing. He's going to stop a lot of shots and turn in some great saves in the process of doing so. Islanders had some real good opportunities in that last 30 seconds, and Tony O shut him down.
A minute and a half left on the belly to Murray, and only 6:22 remaining in the game. Brian Chartier will take this draw with Jim Harrison, right face-off circle, and he wins another draw. Back on the right point is Jean Potvin, left point Dennis. Islanders have it set up. Dennis with a drive. Save in front. The rebound is held onto by Tony O. Gillies was parked in front of that net trying to screen. You know, the odd thing is, Bob, the Islanders have set up their power play about as well as they have all year long. They are doing everything right. They just can't get it past Tony O, he's played the most scintillating goal that we have seen in a long while.
The only disagreement I would give you is that the one slight problem they've had, and they're doing it here, is they're bunching up themselves in front a little bit. but that's supposed to give Tonio problems.
Brian Chartier won another draw. Back to Dennis. Left corner now. Gillies in the slot. Chartier the shot. A great save by Tonio. He got the right leg out. What a save. What a save. Now left point Dennis. Dennis. Right point Jean Potvin. His drive is stopped by Tonio. Rebound. Saved by Tonio. The rebound is kept alive by Jean Potvin and not cleared. Kept in by Harris. Billy Harris, right side. Right point Jean Potvin. Left point Dennis. Now Dennis holds it on the left point. Right point, Jean Potvin. In the slot, deflected, and sent down ice. They've had the shots.
This is like shooting practice for the Islanders. They're passing it so well, but they just can't get it by Espo.
Boy, has he made great saves. Has he made fabulous saves. He made a great save then on Harris, a great save on Chartier. Now Gillies Center loses control, and the puck is sent off the rink by John Marks with 34 seconds remaining on the Murray penalty. I hope the crowd here, and I think they're building right now, I think they're applauding here for Tony Esposito, and they are. And people are standing up. Listen to this. Now, I'm proud of this. I am proud of this. They are standing up and giving a standing ovation to Tonio. I really am proud of that. The whole audience is standing up. He has played the greatest goal that you will ever see. Right in center ice. Juan bangs in and off the boards. It whisks around on the left point to Dennis. In the slot, Juan knocked off a stick, picked up by Dennis. Right point, Jean Potvin. His drive, saved by Tonio. And the rebound comes to center ice. I tell you, they are making great shots in all areas of the cage. Across comes Juan. On the center slot, back passing with Dennis. Dennis left circle. Dennis in front. The shot, saved by Tonio. Rebound Dennis. Right point, Jean Potvin. The drive, saved in front. The rebound is knocked to center ice by Harrison. Penalty is over. All right, Jim Harrison comes to the Islander line. His drive is deflected and it goes in the crowd. There is a break of the action with the score. The Islanders 2, Chicago 1.
This is a Crazy Eddie commercial for people who hate Crazy Eddie commercials. Just remember, when you're looking for audio equipment, color TV, car stereo, CB, anything in home entertainment equipment, there's only one man to see, Crazy Eddie. His prices won't be beat, and Crazy Eddie has all the big name brands. Everything is brand new. He never sells demos, seconds, or closed out merchandise. Crazy Eddie stands behind all manufacturers' warranties, and he services what he sells. Visit one of the great Crazy Eddie locations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Syosset, Long Island, or call 645-1196 for a free price quote.
All right, out the face-off, Dick Redmond plays it in. Deep Islander ice. Now the clock becomes important. Darcy Rhoda behind the Islander net. Sends it back on the point to Murray. His shot is deflected and dumped to center ice. Gary Howard after it. He was bumped by Murray. He bumps him as he comes across the line, and it's played to center ice by Grant Mulvey. 4.5 remaining in the game, maybe in the Chicago season. The Islanders lead it 2-1. They can wrap it up with a win tonight. And the only reason it's 2-1 has been Tony Esposito. Behind the Chicago net, Howard leaves it for Saint Laurent. He's just tied up and wrestled down by Redmond, and the buck is going to be held there by Saint Laurent. Brian Lewis really doesn't want to call another penalty on Chicago. Tony Esposito is the sole reason Chicago is down 2-1. And a moment ago, the Islander fans awarded him with a standing ovation. He has been brilliant.
You know, there have been times when I've questioned the knowledge of Islander fans that come here to the Coliseum if they really do appreciate this game. But that gesture of the standing ovation for Tony Esposito shows me they do really appreciate great hockey playing, and especially goaltending. He deserved it.
The Islanders just played as well as they could on the power play. Now off the draw, in front, Howard, his backhander is deflected by Boulder. Picked up on the right corner by Saint Laurent, plays it back for Howard. Howard is boarded there by Redmond, but gets free of him. Comes to the left corner, sends it. McMillan the shot, saved by Esposito. The rebound is cleared by Bolderev on the right corner, but kept in by Howard. In the slot, McMillan back passing. Saint Laurent, the shot is deflected in front by Murray, taken away by Bolderev, and he dumps out of the zone. 3:40 remaining in the game. Islanders lead it 2-1. Gary Howard in center. A lead for Hart, he plays it in. Blackhawks going to have to gamble here, and Bob Lawrence will keep an eagle eye on their goal to find out when they take Tonio out. Plenty of time left now, 3.5 minutes. From center, the drive by Bolderev is blocked by Smitty, picked up by Harris, and Billy comes out skating. Billy, a good lead for Howell. It's a little long, and it comes to the Chicago line. Howard has to get off anyway to get Gillies on with the rest of the Lightning Company. Now in center ice, Darcy Rhoda has a puck knocked off his skate, taken away by Gillies, and he plays it all the way down to Chicago end. 3 minutes remaining in the game. It is 2-1 Islanders. It could be the final game of the Chicago year. Harris on the right corner, tries to center it, deflected. Harris in the right corner, centers it. Gillies, the shot, save Esposito, and he holds on.
an impossible angle for Clark Gillies, but he got it right on net. Esposito really had to make quick reaction. I don't think he anticipated a shot coming that quick because Gillies was off balance and on the short side, but he did get it up in the air at Tony, and Esposito was able to smother the puck right on his Blackhawk emblem, and it popped off of his chest, and he held on in his glove for the faceoff that'll come to his left. The Blackhawks are going to have to try to get that puck out of the Islanders' zone quickly. The Islanders obviously want to maintain this pressure on Tonio to put the game really on ice with another goal here.
All right, off the jaw, in front of his own net, Phil Russell. He looks to come out of the zone, and he does. Ahead for Mikita. Mikita bothered behind by Trottier. Comes across the line anyway. In the slot, his shot. A save by Smitty, and it is cleared by Dennis Botman. Coming in behind was Cliff Coral, and Dennis just got there. By now, the puck is dug out by Gillies, trying to clear the zone, and it is dumped, not out. Kept in by Coral. Coral in the left corner. His shot is deflected by Smitty in goal. Rebound is knocked out to Harris, and Billy clears down ice. But this will be an out-and-out icing on the Islanders. On the touch by Johnny Marks, the touch is made. To recap, Mikita put a good shot on goal. Smitty had it block off his body, and he didn't see it. Denny Potman got there just ahead of Coral to sweep it out of harm's way.
The puck popped up off what appeared to be the left shoulder of Smitty, right up in the air, and he never knew what happened to it. He was looking to his right. The puck came down to his left and out in front of sorts. Smitty had no idea where it was, and he was really out of position, but fortunately Denny Potvin got to the puck and swept it out of the slot to the side to prevent anybody from following up on that rebound.
2:15 remaining in the game. John Sterling, Bob Lawrence, Nassau Coliseum, third and perhaps final period of this game, and maybe the end of the season for the Hawks if the Islanders can hang on. Eddie Westfall will come out as is Al Arbor's wont to take important face-offs in his own end near the end of the game. 2:15 remaining in the game. Westfall comes on along with Harris and Gillies of the Lightning Company. Brian will probably come back. Jean Potvin is out with Jerry Hart. The Blackhawks send out Elaine Day to take this face-off, a youngster. The face-off is won by the Hawks and dumped in back of the net by Talon. Picked up by Jean Potvin. Jean Potvin dumped from behind by Talon. Picked up by Jerry Hart. Hart now looks to scoop it out of the zone. He does dump it out. It rolls down ice, but icing's been waved off. John Marks has it in his own end. Now Bob Lawrence will keep a realistic eye out in that Chicago net to find out when Espo comes out. Gillies intercepts. His shot is gloved by Tony O from a tough angle. A minute 49 remaining in the game. Will it be the Chicago season? Will the Islanders advance to the quarterfinals? We'll know in a minute 49.
As soon as that puck comes out of the Blackhawk end, I think we're going to see Espo go for the bench. With a minute 49 to go, the Blackhawks must get it out of the zone so they can get the extra skater on ice. Dick Redmond and Phil Russell are poised along bench side. I tend to think if anybody, it'll be Redmond that'll come out to replace Esposito if he doesn't come out prior to that to be the extra skater on the ice when Esposito comes off, and I don't think there's much question that he will come off.
And with the game 2-1, a few minutes to go, actually a minute 49, Billy McMillan is skating in Parisi's left wing slot, the injured J.P. Parisi instead of the rookie Salvian, along with Juan and Westfall. Off the draw, Marks sends it around the board for Dennis Hull. Ahead for Boldereff. He's bumped from behind, loses control. Jean Potvin just deflects it in center ice, knocked aside by McMillan, and he just dumps it into the Chicago zone. A minute 33. Now, as soon as Chicago gets it out of the zone, or pins it in the Islander end, probably Tony O will come out. Murray skates to center, plays it in along the boards into deep Islander ice. Tony O remains in goal because it's picked up by Jerry Hart, and he sends out Juan. Juan leads a 3-on-2 rush. Ahead for Westfall. Back to Juan. Skates to the right circle on his knees as he slipped down. The puck is taken away by Johnny Marks. A minute remaining. Espo comes out of the goal. Marks comes to center, and he scoops it into the Islander end. Chicago playing with 6 skaters. They're playing in an empty goal. The puck is deep in Islander ice. Behind the net, Marks and Hart bang for it. Is picked up and back by Coral. He tries to center it. It's deflected there by Westfall. The puck is dug out by Juan. He plays it out of his zone. The Islanders do not want to try to get to the empty net until they get to center ice. They don't want an icing. Now the Hawks play it in. Boldereff picked up by Jean Potvin behind the net. He shoots it down ice. It's batted down by Dick Redmond at center. 35 seconds remaining in the game. Redmond comes to center, and he plays it in, but it deflects into the crowd.
Redmond was the extra skater who did come on the ice, and he's kind of hanging back almost at the red line. as the defenseman who will stay back, if you will, in the event the Islanders do have a chance to come up ice with the puck. And he got that puck that was fired down ice by Jean Potvin. Redmond knocked it down with a stick, tried to rifle it right back into the Islander zone. In the process, the puck sailed off the ice and hit somebody in the stands. Hopefully, they're not seriously injured. But the faceoff will now come out close to center ice, to the Islander side of center ice, of the center ice red line, with 34 seconds left in what may be the season for the Chicago Blackhawks. The Islanders lead it 2-1. If they can hold on for the next 34 seconds, it's on to the quarterfinals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, Tony Esposito has come back on the ice, and he is parked right in the slot at a position where he can get off quickly if the Blackhawks are able to win this draw and get the puck into the Islander zone. And I'm sure he is not going to wait to see if the Blackhawks have possession. He's going to come off quickly.
All right, off the draw now is picked up by Phil Russell in center. Espo is off. Russell plays it all the way down. Now played off on the left side of the net by Dennis Potvin to Westfall, and he just cleared the zone. 24 seconds remaining in the game, 22-21. Harrison in center ice. The Chicago cage is empty. Russell bottled up by Westfall, loses control. Picked up by Lewis. The shot is deflected by Redmond. There are only 13 seconds remaining in the game. Islanders are 10 seconds away from going to the quarterfinals. Picked up by Russell, 8 seconds. 7, 6. The pass in center ice comes over the line. Knocked away by Davey Lewis. He and Coral struggle. The game is over. The Islanders win. New York Islanders have won the qualifying round of the playoffs as they beat Chicago 2 games straight, 5-2 and 2-1. And now the traditional lineup of handshakes. Brian Trottier, the first Islander on, as the two teams go past each other, something they have done ever since they were kids playing midget and junior hockey. The traditional lineup, Bob, as the Islanders have won this series 2 games to nothing. They win this game 2-1. Chicago has nothing to be ashamed of. Trottier goes over and pats Grant Mulvey on the head, who played a tremendous series. Of course, Tony Esposito was fabulous. Tony Esposito played as well as you'll ever see a goaltender play, but it wasn't enough for the Blackhawks, who are effectively policed by the Islanders and lost this game 2-1 and lost the series 2 games to nothing. By the way, they have given Tony O the #1 star, and boy, he deserved it. He really deserved it. Bert Marshall went out on the ice in his street clothes to shake hands with all the Blackhawks as well. Well, the Islanders have won the qualifying or elimination round. They move on to the quarterfinals, which will begin Monday night. It does not matter if Buffalo wins. I know the general manager, Bill Torrey, will start it Monday night. That's the Islanders' prerogative.